The city lord of Blue Dragon City has been waiting in the front hall for a long time. But when Lin Chan came over, the city lord immediately stood up, nodded his head, and was respectful. The city lord of Blue Dragon City is a dragon man with green horns on his head, probably because he has not evolved completely, so the city lord's head is a green dragon head. It's all green scales. It looks a bit buried. When the city lord of Qinglong City saw Lin Chin again, he immediately stood up, nodded and said, "I have all the things ready. In addition to the gold coin compensation necessary for the siege battle, I also brought you some gadgets. You can take a look." The other party's attitude was very satisfactory to Lin Chan. "That's right. It's just that you two NPCs are warped. As for launching a siege war directly, the war indemnity for siege warfare is 500,000 gold coins. These coins go directly into the castle lord's vault. It is used to maintain the daily maintenance of the city of Odin. For example, pay the people of the escort team or something." In addition, it was the city lord of Qinglong City who brought those gadgets to Lin Chan. The so-called gadgets are all ceramics or glass and the like. Legendary luxury. For example, Lin Chan, what he is looking at now is a Tang Sankai horse. Tang Sansai's horse. It's very valuable. Put it in the store for recycling, and you can sell it for 0.00000 gold coins. Like this luxury, the type without any attributes, the city lord of Qinglong City brought more than 10. The total value far exceeds the indemnity. Not bad. Although these things are useless, you can still make money by selling them. Lin Chin also had no reason to be picky. In fact, she wants the other party to bring some NPC equipment, and she doesn't need to have good attributes. After all, she can customize the attributes herself. The main thing is the grade. The higher the level of NPC equipment, the higher the upper limit of each stat. Lin Chin is more able to let go of his hands and feet when customizing. Sending such a mess of luxury goods doesn't really help. But Lin Chan still had to show a bright smile at the other party, saying that he liked it very much. The city lord of Qinglong City never thought that the city lord of Odin City would be a white-haired, ponytailed little Lori. It looks cute, knowing early on that you have to develop friendly relations from the beginning. He never imagined that the combat power of Odin City would be so strong. Qinglong City, as one of the 4 main cities in Huaxia District, can't even beat a single Odin City. It's a shame to lose a lot of hair. What's more, he was speechless in surprise as long as he glanced at Lin Chin's comprehensive rating and attributes, as well as the clothes Lin Chan was wearing. I knew that Odin City was such a hard stubble. He said that he couldn't start a siege war. This time the compensation is huge. Lin Chin took the compensation and accepted the other party's luxury. He didn't know how to answer for a while, and the old housekeeper standing behind Lin Chan was very anxious. Unexpectedly, Lin Chin at this time actually came up with a sentence. "Big brother, you also gave the money and things. It's time to go back, right?" Blue Dragon City Lord. It's really hard to get along with. He took a deep breath and nodded with a smile. "That's right. I should go back too. You have fun?" The city lord of Blue Dragon City sighed, then turned to leave, until I saw the back of the city lord of Qinglong City disappear completely. The butler came up with a roar. "Lord Castle, you really shouldn't have had that attitude just now." Lin Chin raised his eyebrows. "Then what attitude should I have? People want to attack me because I took 2 NPs from him. Why? Now that they are a defeated city, the system has made adjustments to compensate and punish us. Doesn't he deserve it?" The butler couldn't say why. After a long time, the housekeeper stomped his feet and said, "Then the city lord should also leave him for a meal. Just drive people away like this, and let people say that we are not polite. I don't have a good face for the people who want to attack our city. If you want to hold it." Lin Chin looked at the housekeeper with an indifferent expression. "But you step out with this foot and hold that guy from Qinglong City. Don't come back in the future." The butler was startled and immediately fell to his knees to express his heartfelt feelings. Lin Chin waved his hand. "Put all these luxury goods into the warehouse and sell them when the price is high." The housekeeper nodded and honestly asked someone to take away all the luxury goods brought by the city lord of Qinglong City. At this moment, the system announcement appears. System announcement. Due to the failure of Qinglong City against Odin City, a fine of 500,000 gold coins was imposed to Dry. Within 3 days, all players in Odin City will have a 50% buff on their attacks and a 30% increase in their experience in fighting monsters. As a defeated city, Qinglong City pays 3% of its total income to Odin City every month. It lasted for a year. In front of him, Lin Xin didn't care about his appearance. But here the last one. A pair of eyes widened. Taxation. The reason why Qinglong City can become one of the 4 main cities in Huaxia District is because there are many minerals around the city. These minerals are sold at a high price every year. 3% of the total income, that's a lot of money. As soon as the city lord of Qinglong City returned to his city lord's mansion, he heard such a prompt, stumbled under his feet, and almost fell to the ground. Are you kidding? It's not enough to lose a lot of money, and now you have to hand over 3% of your total income every month. Why? The city lord of Qinglong City immediately complained. Soon the Ji-Brain responded, if you don't feel convinced, you can start a siege again. Start a chicken. Now all the powerful NPCs in Green Dragon City have withdrawn from Green Dragon City and defected to Odin City. I believe that it won't be long before Qinglong City will squeeze out one of the 4 main cities. It's not that there are only 4 main cities in Huaxia District. It's because of this kind of super big city, both in terms of area and income, there are very strict requirements. Qinglong City is naturally better than Odin City. But if it continues to develop according to the current situation, what will happen? No one knows. Blue Dragon City may have big trouble in the future. I see. The city lord of Blue Dragon City had an ugly face, and he sneered and began to dial those familiar calls. The favors owed by the previous people should also be repaid. Odin City, Lao Tzu, and you will never die. However, on Lin Chen's side, the scenery was the same for a while. There are quite a few NPCs who come here. Lin Chen started to be the shopkeeper, and all the arrangements of these NPCs were handed over to Luo Sha. After all, this little girl is willing to do such a thing. And the Dafeng designed a set of clothes for herself. Didn't Lin Chen have one piece of golden equipment before, the kind that could customize the appearance? At the beginning, Luo Sha signed an agreement with Lin Chen, asking Lin Chen to give up the small skirt to Luo Sha. And this time, Lin Chen fulfilled his promise and gave the little dress to Luo Sha. And the Dafeng quickly got the shape done. How so? This woman's aesthetic is a bit strange. B-waist and long legs. As a result, this product made a set of Hanfu for himself. It's still the kind of breast-length skirt, the kind that goes straight to the sky at 12 meters, straight up and straight down. As for the slender curves, no, none of the hairs. Lin Chen had a headache. Moreover, there are a lot of private goods in this falling yarn. She has 4 purple pieces of gear on her, the kind that can be customized. They made her into gold hairpins, earrings, sachets, and fans. Correspond to helmets, earrings, accessories, and gloves in the equipment kit. It was the first time that Lin Chen knew that gloves could be made into the shape of a fan. It's really convincing. There are 8 pieces of equipment left, all blue, and you can customize the shape of the equipment. Lin Chen's original meaning was only to help Dafeng make small skirts, but I didn't expect that there would be so much inventory on this product. At this time, in Lin Chen's somewhat exaggerated bedroom, Luo Sha hugged a pink hugging bear and said quite embarrassedly, "You are a good person to the end. It's a big deal. Don't give me custom attributes for those blue equipment. There is nothing to customize anyway. You can customize the 4 purple outfits and the Hanfu for me, and that's it." Lin Chen nodded, yes. Hanfu is a golden outfit. The upper limit of attributes is 100,000. Lin Chen directly adjusted all the added attributes to the highest limit. Luo Sha was also overjoyed when she got the equipment. "You are really amazing. Such a high authority can only be obtained by Ji-Brain himself? If you like it, if you like." Lin Chen just smiled and didn't speak. As a result, the falling yarn is about to pounce again. Lin Chen didn't want to suffocate again. Hurriedly dodge. As for the clothes of the sweeping monks, this guy found a fashion, the kind that doesn't have any attributes. Lin Chen also had no way to transform. The sweeper wore the dress over his tattered clothes, and he was reluctant to take them off. At first, Lin Chen couldn't understand it. Later, the sweeping monk showed Lin Chen the attributes of his tattered clothes. Lin Chen was completely speechless. Tattered clothes, a symbol of a special NPC that can be dropped, cannot be destroyed, and cannot be traded. If you wear this outfit, you won't take any damage when facing players or NPCs. Tattered shoes, the beggar's shoes, which have an indescribable smell and are a symbol of special NPCs, cannot be dropped, destroyed, or traded. With these shoes on, you can use them if players and NPCs are disrespectful to you, and they will kill 100% of the time in one hit. Isn't that just the shoes of the second person? Shoes can also be used as weapons. Awesome. Lin Shun was completely speechless. This can still be done. It's the first of its kind in history. As for the sweeper's residence, according to his own words, he must stand in a prominent place and wait for the arrival of the players and NPCs who are destined to arrive. Therefore, Lin Shun built a thatched hut for him at the gate of the city lord's mansion, together with the quartermaster standing at the gate of the city lord's mansion. Lin Shun won the first place in the last siege battle, and the points can be exchanged for equipment and skills from the quartermaster. Of course, it can also be exchanged for money. It's just that Lin Shun can't look down on it. Now Lin Shun's main concern is not these trivial things. What she cares about most is the mental method. As Dafeng said before, this method looks more like a complete set of cycle-running tasks. Lin Shun had just opened the dusty little notebook in his backpack. I received a task. Please lift the Dafeng kiss and hug high 50 times. Lin Shun? Say it again. What are you going to do? Knock on the thunder. What is called to lift the Dafeng kiss and hug high 50 times? The key question is, as far as Lin Shun's little man, his height is not as long as the Dafeng legs. Can he really lift the Dafeng high? Absolutely. After all, Lin Shun's attributes were already very exaggerated. In the last event, at the end, Lin Shun used a forbidden spell, because that wave earned a lot of attribute values at one time. In the end, almost all the players were killed by her. And now Lin Shun's strength attribute has reached a terrifying 199. Although the strength stat is an increase in attack, but it's also a bit with strength relationship bar. Maybe it really matters. At this time, the falling yarn had already put on Hanfu and circled in the courtyard. To be honest, the golden hair, deep facial features, that appearance, the face has a Western taste, and then wearing a Hanfu with a similar momentum as Huagua, to be honest, it really has a little meaning. It's pretty. Lin Shun walked up to Luo Sha, glanced up and down at Luo Sha, and lowered his voice. Can I ask you to do me a favor? The Dafeng got a beautiful set of Hanfu, and this Hanfu was made by Lin Shun, naturally in a good mood. You have such a good relationship with me, I will help you with anything. Falling Yarn nodded and said, Then let me kiss and hug you 50 times. Lin Shun plucked up the courage and told the content of the task. Dafeng? What's that? You repeat? The expression on the face of the Dafeng Yarn cracked. Lin Shun knew that what he said was a little strange, but she still estimated the courage to say it again. Unexpectedly, Luo Sha walked over directly, hugged her, and gently threw it up. Her soul was about to fly. I never felt this way before. Lin Shun shouted in midair in a panic. Let me go quickly. Oh, little one, why are you so cute? Said with a smile. If you want me to kiss and hug and lift it high, don't say 50 times, 50 times. Lin Shun panicked. It's me who kisses and hugs you high, not you who hold me up. Put me down quickly. This is my mental task. As soon as I heard the task of the mental method, Luo Sha's face was much more serious. She put Lin Shun down, looked at Lin Shun's face seriously. What you said is true? Then is there a fake? Lin Shun said with a melancholy expression. But it's still a little embarrassing. Lin Shun asked tentatively, Are you willing? What's not to want from this? I just felt that Lin Shun didn't have the strength. Luo Sha glanced Lin Shun up and down and said with some curiosity, Do you have that much strength? Can you really lift me up? Lin Shun nodded hurriedly. Of course. Luo Sha glanced at Lin Shun again, especially Lin Shun's thin arms. And Lin Shun didn't have the length of the legs that fell. It's really embarrassing. Luo Sha hurriedly instructed, Then you be careful. Lin Shun nodded. Then, she hugged the big leg of the falling yarn. Actually, this posture is not very good. If you want to lift the daf, this height is definitely not a no-go. As a result, Lin Chun came to a princess hug. The Dafeng deliberately shrunk her legs, simply hung on Lin Chen's body. Lin Chun gritted his teeth. There's definitely something wrong with this brain. It was possible to arrange such an outrageous task. As a result, she could hear the falling veil in her ear and said softly, "Is there something I don't know whether to say or not?" "Say." Lin Chun narrowed his eyes and continued. He could hear the soft voice of the veil and said in Lin Chen's ear, "This mental task is based on everyone's different attributes." Speaking of this, Luo Sha looked at Lin Chen cautiously. Seeing that Lin Chen didn't react at all, the Dafeng was also relieved. Simply said it all, "You are like me. What I hope most is to be able to attack. So my first mental task is to kill monsters. The second mental task also kills monsters. The third mental task also kills monsters, all of which increase their own attack power. Of course, I can't do it alone, so I have to rely on the players." Speaking of this, Lin Chun was inexplicable. Everyone's physical attributes are different, so everyone's tasks are different. I think this is normal. What's wrong? It seems that Lin Chun still hasn't comprehended the most critical issue. Falling Yarn coughed. Just say everything you want to say. It's your first Rin who is actually this. Is it because that's what you usually think about? What Luo Sha said was quite pleasant. After saying that, his face turned red. What the is this kind of asked? How did Lin Chen answer? In fact, Lin Chen himself was stunned. I never thought that such a problem would arise in the Dafeng. To be honest, if Lin Chen was a man now, I really planned to kiss and hug the falling yarn and hold it high. But now Lin Chen is a white-haired Lori. White-haired double ponytail Loli. The slender little arms hugging the Daf. The Dafeng was like a koala, hanging on Lin Chen's body. It's just amazing. Lin Chen's face was a little ugly. Luo Sha suddenly felt that she had said the wrong thing and hurriedly explained, "There is actually no official explanation for this. I guessed it myself. If it is wrong, please forgive me." Lin Chen nodded and said, "Of course it's wrong. There is an indescribable nobility in her. It's as if everything she says is true." So the Dafeng did not refute for a while. Instead, he nodded and said, "I think you're right." It's not that the yarn is to blame. It was because Lin Chen at this time suddenly threw the Dafeng veil up. Luo Sha didn't expect that Lin Chen would have such great strength. The defenseless one was thrown into the air by Lin Chen. Then the Dafeng fell from midair again. Lin Chen caught it accurately. He threw the Dafeng on it again. 50 PCS. At first, the Dafeng will also scream. But then it turned out to be a way to enjoy the scenery. This way, hey, yes, come over here. Here, I can see clearly. There's a kebab seller over there. Let's go out and eat later. There should be other mental tasks besides this, right? Don't have a little face, can you? You throw me a little higher. I can see farther. You have a lot of delicious food in Odin. Really? Girls together. Not to discuss cosmetics, clothes, bags. It's about eating and drinking. Falling Yarn was quite scared at first. Now a pair of eyes are fixed on those snacks outside the city lord's mansion. Also made Lin Chen speechless. Ding dong. Congratulations to the host for completing the task. The level of the mental method increases, and the proportion of attributes brought into reality increases by 0.25%. How much? Lin Chen was surprised. 0.25%. I thought it was 1% high. Now it's 1.25%. What's the difference between and not changing? It's really convincing. Lin Chen was completely speechless. Ding dong. Congratulations to the host for taking on the second task of the heart method. Ding dong. Please change to the dead reservoir water and enter the water park and finish first place. What the heck? Brain, be sober. Is it okay to be normal? Are these tasks capable of being completed by a normal person? Served. Lin Chen's face immediately darkened. Seeing Lin Chen's expression, Luo Sha was startled and asked cautiously, "What's wrong? Is it because the two of us are in the wrong posture? That's why your task was not completed." Lin Chen's expression was very ugly. So Luo Sha thought that Lin Chen had not completed the task. Very caring. Lin Chen shook his head. It's done. But there is a second task. In fact, Luo Sha is still quite curious. What task did Lin Chen take? because the tasks that Lin Shin took were all quite strange. It's a refresher. What task? Asked the Veil. Lin Shun was reluctant to say. It's a shame. What the hell? Little one, you and I are so familiar. What else is there to say? Luo Sha looked at Lin Shun with a smile. Lin Shun collapsed a little. However, when she opened the mind method, almost everyone received an activity prompt. Water park. Only female players or NPCs can participate. Complete the race at the water park. Number 1. Reward a bright costume with 3 special attributes. Number 2. Reward a one-piece costume. Third reward, 500 gold coins. All participants will receive a swimsuit costume. The preview is as follows. It was a blue picture with mesh, and it was beautiful, especially the long skirt. The figure swayed. It's fashion, anyway. It is also a costume that can only be obtained by female players and female NPCs. Normal NPCs, if you want to get vanities, can only buy them in the GM shop. However, not every NPC is that rich. So when Lin Chin's event was released, up to 8 years old, that level of popularity was something Lin Shan didn't expect. At the same time, a dialogue box popped up in front of Lin Shan. Do you live stream the water park schedule? Live broadcast, you bastard. This brain is really in the water. It's really beautiful. Lie to Lao Tzu and wear dead reservoir water. Now it's still trying to be straight. Lin Shin was about to dismiss this dialogue box. Then, a new dialogue box appears in front of you. Live streaming can be earned. Brother is the one who cares so much about that little bit of gold? Yes. So Lin Shin chose yes. Joke. If Lin Shin was just the owner of a small shop, she naturally didn't need to care about that little bit of gold coins. But now Lin Shin, that is the city lord of Odin City. O Lord of the city. She needs to raise a large number of people. Although the city lord of Qinglong City fed her a wave of milk. But it's not enough to keep a city running. What is this money for? So Lin Shin not only wants to broadcast live, and it should be broadcast live on the whole network. When the time comes, all the money will be your own. It was used to raise the city of Odin. It was just perfect. After all, Lin Shin sacrificed you. She thinks she's still precious. If something must be sacrificed, then the benefits in exchange must be maximized. Event countdown. 1 hour. The brain reappeared. Luo Sha looked at Lin Shin with a strange expression. So your task? This is it? It's a little weird, isn't it? It's really hard to complain about. Lin Shin would not admit it if he was killed. Actually, that's her mission. Just kidding, if you admit it. Will Lin Shin still be majestic in the future? That's nothing. Are you participating in the event? Lin Shin finally found an excuse and turned his head to ask. Of course, I participated, and the first place was rewarded with a fashion prize. Luo Sha said excitedly, although I already have a swimsuit, I don't have this type yet. Lin Shin shook his head. Since you already have it, there's no need to make another set. This style is different. If the style is the same, even if the color is different, I will want it. Falling yarn covered her mouth and smiled. Lin Shin was a little speechless. Woman, it's always incomprehensible. An hour of preparation is not a long time. Lin Shin wandered around, looking here, watching there, grinding and chirping, and soon an hour passed. Even among them she found out that she had access to the gaming forums. At this time, there was also a lot of discussion about this event in the game forum. Most of them are because of their gender. Unfair? Why can only female players participate, and male players cannot? I heard that it will be broadcast live on the whole network. Is you the kind of superficial person? I mean, this live broadcast is really white. Although we can't participate, we can watch the live broadcast, the majority of male compatriots. This is a benefit. I don't know what the water park event relies on to win. If it depends on appearance, I can brush the reward. The forum is almost all YY. Lin Shin couldn't stand it anymore. While wandering around, she beckoned a few small NPCs to pick some wildflowers nearby and dress them up as bouquets. And an extremely high price is given. Players do not have a marketplace. You can only find shops in the main city. There are also bouquets of roses inside the grocery store. But it's expensive. The little NPCs that Lin Shin found were not so expensive in their hands, but they were not so cheap. When the time comes, players will choose for themselves. What's more, there aren't a lot of flowers on those little NPCs. This was deliberately done by Lin Chun. Hunger marketing. The time is almost up. Falling Yarn's eyes have lit up. I just went to the fashion store and found 2 more beautiful swimsuits. Why don't you try them out? Lin Chen shook his head. After all, she has designated swimsuits here. If you change into a different swimsuit, I guess it didn't work at all. Isn't that more than worth the cost? The time was fast approaching. The swimsuit worn on the doffing side is diamond encrusted. This product has really paid for it. Under Lin Chen's strange gaze, Falling Yarn also had to explain, this is the equipment I got for my previous missions. Really? Lin Chen asked rhetorically. I thought you wanted to be in front of players and other female NPCs, so you specially customized such a costume for yourself? This diamond-encrusted swimsuit is custom-made. There are no ready-made ones in the GM mall. At least Lin Chen had never seen it. Falling Yarn's face was slightly red, a little embarrassed. When Lin Chen said this, he felt even more embarrassed. Even a little Lori like Lin Chen can see Luo Sha's thoughts. Naturally, the rest of the people could see it. Luo Sha looked depressed, and the expression on his face disappeared soon, which also made Lin Chen not see clearly. I'll go in first. You hurry up and change your clothes, don't bother. After the veil was finished, the person had already disappeared. In fact, in addition to being diamond-encrusted, the swimsuit is still very beautiful. In particular, the light yarn around the waist is very beautifully decorated. Of course, the doffing is also a conservative person, and he is not so open to wearing bikinis. The upper body resembles a small short sleeve with the belly button exposed. This large area is studded with diamonds, plus lace. Very beautiful. Lin Chen sighed. He took out his ugly set of dead water from the warehouse. The dark blue of the 8 classics. Not a bikini, but the most ordinary look. Lin Chen sighed, and finally resigned himself to putting his clothes on. Without the ups and downs of doffing, this cargo is a mediocre airport. Lin Chen gritted his teeth. There are some things that can't be compared. Fortunately, she was witty and had already stimulated the doffing. Otherwise, how should this matter end? Lin Chen changed his clothes, entered the water park before the start of the game. When he first entered the water park, Lin Chen was also stunned. There's too much of a person, right? You're next to me, I'm next to you. But the girl was okay, and didn't do anything drastic. Although everyone felt a little squeezed, they got along harmoniously. Lin Chen had just landed. I heard the voices of the players behind me. With so many people participating, and there is only one swimming pool in the water park, how will you play then? A bunch of people jumping in like dumplings? Don't you tease me? My stomach hurts. But seriously, this game is a simulation, isn't it about swimming? I'm a landlubber. Landlubbers also have the courage to come in here. Aren't they looking for death? I think it's the game. It's not a big deal. There was a lot of talk. Lin Chen didn't care about this. Anyway, it's going to start soon. It looks like there's only one pool. It's essentially a lot. In front of this pool, it is only possible to draw one of the games at random, because this game is meant to be live. After all, this activity was Lin Chen's mental task. So Lin Chen thinks. The content of the live broadcast may be herself. The rules of activities at the water park are simple. It's swimming. The total length is 1 kilometer. But in the process of swimming, you will encounter monster attacks. Players or NPCs must block the attacks of these monsters and survive to complete the game. As soon as the rules came out, some people were overjoyed. Some people have sad faces. Also said that the game is perverted. But there was no withdrawal, because everyone who participates will get that beautiful swimsuit. Girls are all beauty-loving. Naturally, no one wants to quit. The game begins. Lin Chen and 4 beautiful women teleported to a swimming pool. At this time, the 5 of them had not jumped off. Lin Chen sighed. A white double ponytailed Loli, wearing dead reservoir water, looks cute. As Lin Chen expected, the content of the live broadcast was based on Lin Chen's location. Now Lin Chen appeared on the big screen, and a bunch of text appeared on the big screen. Lori has 3 good, light voice, soft body, 66,666. Rosai. I don't know why. I always think this Lori is a little familiar. Little Lori NPC is good-looking. Go out for a while and tell my brother where you are and patronize you every day. If I'm not mistaken, the Lord of Odin looks like this. After the last barrage was issued, the entire screen fell silent. This group of people seems to have gone to check a certain degree. It didn't take long. The barrage broke out again. It all revolved around Lin Chen's identity. I checked just now. Our city Lord of Odin City really looks like this. Could it be an NPC that looks exactly the same? Although this game is built by the brain, it is said that there are still 1,700 of them, and scientists have studied them for a long time. But maybe there will be times when they are too lazy to model, so there will be exactly the same NPC. You can pull it down. The one in front doesn't understand anything, so don't talk nonsense. Anyway, Lori Saigao. Lori Saigao. Lori Saigao. At first, everyone was still divided. But in appreciating Lori, everyone is pretty much the same. The content of the replies is similar. If Lin Chen could see the barrage, he would probably be angry. But she couldn't. The activities at the water park have finally begun. Lin Chen was still slowly doing warm-up activities. But the other 4 people had already pierced in. As for it, need to be in such a hurry? Compared with the 4 beauties who entered the water park like lightning, Lin Chen, who was standing in place and still doing warm-up activities slowly, was particularly abrupt. And the barrage at this time is also crazy. Little Lori is very calm. 666. What the hell is a child? You still say that this is the Lord of Odin City. What are you kidding? This is the City Lord. No kidding. Maybe the City Lord has his own killer weapon. Everyone else has already swam a lot away. It really makes me anxious. What is the criterion for this event? I don't know. Otherwise, why would this City Lord be so calm? What Lin Chen didn't expect was that because of her random move, the player would guess so many results. She did her warm-up and jumped headlong into it. After plunging into the water, Lin Chen noticed that something was wrong. Ding dong. Welcome to the water park. Lin Chen thought that everyone was competing in the swimming pool. After all, this swimming pool was also so long. But what she didn't expect was that the so-called water park turned out to be a small replica of the simulated sea. The screen was divided into several grids at once. Below each slot is the time ranking. The one with the shortest time is the highest in the row. Lin Chen is now in the 8th. It's about to fall out. The barrage also exploded at this time. This split screen is okay. We can see it more clearly. But I'd still like to zoom in on Lori's lens. What a hair. We just want to see Lori, okay? Ding dong. The player Jiang and rewarded the anchor with 999 roses. Ding dong. Players dominate the world and rewarding the anchor is a yacht search. It's funny. These 2 rivals can tear apart no matter what the occasion. And among the 8 on Lin Chen's side, 2 people have already been eliminated. Because I encountered a monster. And this monster is not something that those 2 people can deal with. Lin Chen suddenly rushed out, extremely fast, and then it didn't take long for him to really meet the legendary monster. Elite boss at level 60. It's normal for ordinary players to have no way to deal with it. I didn't expect a simple water park to be so complicated to arrange. But then again, if it's not a little more complicated, it is estimated that Lin Chen's probability of winning the first place is even more slim. After all, if it's more than swimming, Lin Chen is not a professional swimmer. If only it could be compared, there would be ghosts. Keep in mind that all female players and female NPCs on the server participated. This certainly includes some national-level athletes. Lin Chen didn't have the ability to win against them. In fact, the audience was also shocked when they saw the level 6 mini-boss appear in the water park. The 2 eliminated ones were completely killed by the level 60 mini-boss with a tail. The opponent's attributes are so strong, and the attack is so high, and the other few people, although they have not been eliminated, are not far from elimination. The level 60 mini-boss is a shark with long, narrow eyes and extremely high attack power. Lin Chen was a violent person, and when the shark rushed towards him, he grabbed the shark with his small hand and then smashed it to the ground. At this time, the barrage went crazy directly. What the hell did I see? 6,666 Violent Lori. Lao Tzu trembled. The player dominates the world and rewards a yacht. Player 6666 rewarded a yacht. Player Qinjiangzi rewarded a yacht. The reason why there was a reward was because everyone saw that after Lin Shan threw the shark to the ground, the shark actually died. A large red number popped out of the shark's head, blocked by the sea. It's not clear at all, but the shark did die. This shark's attack power is indeed very high, but it is a water park event, and the maximum level of all players on the server has not exceeded 30 at this time. It is not appropriate for a level 60 shark to appear. So the boss's HP has been modified. Crispy very. Of course, you must also be able to withstand the boss's attacks. Lin Shan noticed that the other young ladies who were able to dodge the boss's attacks were all relatively high in agility. You can move freely in the seawater. Theoretically, as long as you don't get attacked by this shark, you can still destroy this shark. Lin Shan killed the shark with a hammer, which was something that everyone never expected. Then Lin Shan continued to swim forward. Because of this shark, Lin Shan was stunned and much ahead of everyone. 2 more young ladies were eliminated. It seems that Lin Shan's wave of entering the dungeon is not powerful. Lin Shan's name soon appeared first, and there is time to calculate after each name. And now the whole network broadcasts the process of Lin Shan's customs clearance. What she is struggling with now is not this, but after she killed a level 60 little shark, she didn't even give anything to it. Stingy. It's too picky. Lin Shan continued to swim forward, passing through a white jade dragon gate again. Not to mention that the dragon gate carving is very good looking. Lin Shan didn't hold back, slowly floated up, and went to the dragon gate to take a closer look. Then he began to dismantle the door with his bare hands. At this time, the live barrage is full of question marks. Yee. What are you doing here? It's okay to tear down the door with your bare hands. I think that the dragon gate seems to be made of jade. It should be quite valuable, and it is normal to dismantle the door with bare hands, right? Normal ghost, what kind of? I think it's probably because this jade is more valuable, and there is no other reason. Lin Shan didn't bother to care about those barrages. She couldn't see them anyway. Satisfied, she dismantled the door. Broken gantry fragments. It is made of luxurious jade, and it looks more valuable. Selling to a merchant can be sold for 90 silver for 1 gold coin. It's really cut, but it's money. Lin Shan stuffed it into his backpack. Continue on your swim. When she passed through the dragon gate, the earth shook, and half of the dragon's tail suddenly appeared not far away. Green dragon tail. Lin Shan was curious and slowly approached. However, the angle of the live broadcast is different, and you can already see clearly what the dragon tail is. It was a dragon. The barrage is also like crazy. Non-stop? What did I see? That's a dragon. A level 120 dragon. But this dragon only has 1200 blood. Am I dazzled? Just kidding. The amount of blood is a little less. But can't Mom, you be impressed? This kind of boss should be weakened. Little Lori run. Don't come around here. Sit back and wait for the big monster to tear Lori, preferably the kind that splits the corpse. The pervert in front of me stops. I like it too. Lin Shan didn't notice it. The big dragon was circling, just above Lin Shan. Lin Shan could occasionally see a tail or half a head, and she didn't bother to take care of it. If only she could get along safely, she could easily pass through here. But how is that possible? Just as Lin Shan was struggling to swim forward, suddenly a green dragon tail smashed down towards where she was. She scrambled to dodge. The dragon's tail smashed a big hole in the place where she was just now. The water was muddy, and it was hard to see what was going on. But then, one clearly saw the green dragon, and suddenly its tail straightened. Start spinning. It was as if someone had grabbed him by the tail and rounded his arm with all his might. The dragon was like a giant whip in an instant, churning the water. At the same time, the dragon's blood volume is rapidly decreasing. Minus 333. Crit. Minus 12. Minus 144. Minus 17. A barrage of damage floated up from the dragon's head. That dragon's blood was 1,200 in total. When Lin Shan came into contact with the other party, he killed more than half of them at once. But a thick shield soon appeared on the dragon's body. This shield is much longer than its original HP. It's really disgusting. And in the presence of shields, Lin Chen's attack became -1, -2, -3, hit the chicken, gone. Lin Chen simply threw the green dragon out with resentment. The dragon was thrown onto the screen by Lin Chen. Even several people could clearly see the cracks on the screen. The live broadcast room also exploded instantly. What kind of magical angle is this? 233333. I feel like the camera is broken. I'm really drunk. Isn't this a game? I'm convinced. My Lori's strength is so great. Little Lori is so cute, huh? I didn't see the picture I wanted to see. Why do I think little Lori seems to be a little resentful? It's just that a small boss didn't explode in front of me, and now it's such a disgusting boss coming out. I'm depressed too, right? Player Jiangnan rewards a yacht. The player's hands are cold, and he rewards a yacht. The player world is for you to taste, and a yacht is rewarded. The player was romantic and rewarded 100 million fishballs. Look at that, Submaster. How long have you been saving fishballs, and you have taken them all out? How many years has this been accumulated? Can this also be announced on the system? Hundreds of millions of dollars can be, but this is not the most. Before I went to a live broadcast room, someone invested 500 million in one go. Maybe it will be in a while. I'm also going to save 500 million and then come out and show my face. The discussion in the live broadcast room was very joyful. Lin Chen's face was disgusted, and he threw the dragon aside and continued to swim forward. It's a racing game, after all, although her progress is already ahead. But don't be proud. Not to mention, there should still be someone who can clear the customs quickly. Lin Chen's expectations are good. When she was dealing with the green dragon, someone has already caught up with her in a menacing manner. Moreover, the other party's proficiency is no worse than hers. The man was wearing a white swimsuit, the bikini kind, and his popularity was also quite high. The live broadcast cut screen just cut to the person's face, and suddenly there were a lot more barrages. What a beautiful young lady. It's beautiful and powerful, and it's possible to kill here so quickly. It's so awesome. I want a dozen of such young ladies. I don't know how she cleared the customs, and the little Lori just now couldn't solve Qinglong at one time. Didn't you see it before? I've been paying attention to this young lady, and the agility attribute of people is called a high, and the shark was stunned that he didn't hit half of the young lady's clothes. I've seen it too, it's called A. While the barrage was chatting, the young lady in a white bikini had already entered the place where the Dragon King was. This time, the Dragon King also attacked the young lady with his tail first. However, the young lady flashed sideways. The sea became muddy. The main thing is that the green dragon is upside down. But no matter how the green dragon took, there was no way to cause any harm to the young lady. The opponent's evasion and agility are too high. Even in the water, it doesn't have much effect. That's the best part. Although the sea is muddy, the shooting angle is good, and you can clearly see how the young lady dodges. The barrage in the live broadcast room quickly went crazy. I saw a violent Lori just now. Now I see a violent royal sister. When did we have so many beautiful girls in the game? It's that if I had known that there would be so many beautiful girls in the game, I wouldn't be single until now. I think this guy seems to be the top 10 masters of the game before, and the assassin at the top of the rankings. What's it called now? It's Xiaomo Yinyu. I'm Jiangnan. Jiangnan, you old immortal. Is Xiaomo Yinyu's strength so strong? I didn't notice it before. Player Jiangnan rewarded a yacht. Player Jiangnan rewarded a yacht. Player Jiangnan rewarded a yacht. 10 yachts rowed in a row. I'm Jiangnan, and the front row confesses Xiaomo Yinyu. You confess that you have an egg, and Xiaomo Yinyu still added the sonorous rows to say that there are enough powerful female players in the sonorous rows. Who else is there but Xiaomo in the rain? If you want me to say that this water park should not be all the people who are in the sonorous roses, right? Every member of sonorous rose has a fashion, or it's exactly the same, and it's exciting to think about it. Don't talk about the front, it's over. +1. To finish. Done +10086. Damn, I've served you. A group of people are confessing to Miss Xiaomo Yinyu. However, Xiaomo Yinyu naturally couldn't see it and dealt with the green dragon in his own way. Qinglong's size is too big, and he keeps stirring up, but there is no way to cause any harm to Xiaomo Yinyu. And Xiaomo Yinyu easily dodged the attack of the green dragon. Keep swimming, not at all. This progress is even faster than Lin Chen's. However, Lin Chen quickly received a hint from Ji-Brain. There are already players who are about to surpass you. It's about to be exceeded. Sure enough, there are many perverts in this world. Lin Chen's face darkened. Continue on your swim. It doesn't matter what's going on behind you. Qinglong also wanted to stop Lin Chen, but the other party still has a thick shield on his body. Lin Chen had no way to cause him harm. Relying on his petite body and super high agility, Lin Chen stubbornly avoided the interference of the green dragon. Originally, she wanted to kill Qinglong, but now it seems impossible. Sure enough, green things are nasty. It doesn't matter if it's a dragon or a hat. Lin Chen quickly fled from the range of the blue dragon. When I turned around, I saw that the water behind me was turbid. If you want to say that you are agile, Lin Chen's current attribute is higher than Xiaomo Yinyu, so I don't know where it is. It's easy to dodge, too. Originally, Lin Chen wanted to kill Qinglong, so he delayed the progress. But if you think about it, in a water park, you can't get any rewards for killing monsters. So what else is there to kill? It's a waste of time. Lin Chen didn't care about his back at all, and the one that swam was called fast. All of a sudden, it was a big one. The barrage stopped for a while, and there was a big blank. Seeing Lin Chen's sudden speed up, many people said they couldn't bear it. Isn't this just a little Lori? Don't delay your child to win the world championship. What kind of game do you play? I'm convinced. Can I still do this? It turns out that our little Lori has been hiding all along. If you swim seriously, you will be able to throw you off. Lori Saigao, Lori Saigao, Lori Saigao. Don't explain. Is this cheating? Lin Chen's speed surprised everyone. Even the champion coaches of several world-class competitions can't help but applaud. Although it's just the game. But people feel exactly the same in the water as they do in reality. Lin Chen's talent in the game means that Lin Chen can have the same talent in the real world. How can this not surprise others? However, when those people wanted to contact Lin Chen, they found that this person couldn't be contacted at all. They thought that maybe it was because Lin Chen had turned off the communication. No one thought that Lin Chen was an NPC. Of course, although the water park clearly indicates that NPCs can also participate. But no one thought it would be an NPC. So far, the first place is Lin Chen. The second is the summer foam smoke and rain. The third is Dafeng. Dafeng is not a fast swimmer. At the beginning, it was still at the bottom. But Dafeng is a very special profession, the holy priest. This class has no attack ability, only the ability to add health. Falling Yarn swam slowly for some distance on her own, and then she met the big shark. When the shark sees the Daf, it's called an excitement. Quickly rushed in the direction of the Dafeng. And the Dafeng also made a response that all healing professions have, and that is screaming. After all, it's a falling veil without any attack skills. Isn't it possible to use a normal attack? It's funny, but when Falling Sha screamed in fear, she didn't expect the shark to quickly approach her. Then he rubbed beside himself. That's called an excitement. Dafeng is inexplicable. The shark pointed to his back, then patted his belly again. The cute appearance is really funny. At that time, when they saw the action of the falling veil, everyone also laughed. This shark is selling cuteness, right? I feel that this girl must be a special profession, able to attract the attention of sharks, and it should be similar to a healing profession. Only healing or supplementing with such charm. If it were an ordinary attack class, it would be absolutely impossible. Is the young lady interested in joining our guild? I think this is like an NPC. It seems to have one in Qinglong City, and now it's in Odin City. It's really an NPC, the Divine Priest Mentor. I just found it on a certain degree. It's normal for such a gentle and beautiful young lady to be favored by sharks. The barrage brushed one by one. The Dafeng is unnoticed. The shark can't speak, so it can only keep making gestures. Seeing that the falling yarn was still scared, the shark simply turned over and exposed its soft belly to the falling yarn. In general, When wild animals do this, they show absolute trust. Luo Sha was also able to see it and asked in surprise, "You mean to believe me?" The shark nodded. "Can I use you as a mount, then?" asked Falling Yarn, staring at a pair of big watery eyes. The sharks are almost nodding their heads off. That's what he meant. It's a pity that the beautiful young lady has never understood. It's really a shark depressed. With a happy smile on her face, she straddled the shark's body and then swished and flew far away. That's why Dafeng is in third place. Now the Falling Yarn has communicated with Qinglong. At this time, Qinglong was also very willing to let the veil fall on him. When the Falling Yarn appeared in the third and rode the green dragon majestically forward, the whole barrage was crazy. There's such a pass, awesome. Can everything be mounted? How do you learn this special skill? I think I'm going to visit this legendary NP in Odin City in the future, and then learn skills, and I'm going to become a holy priest. Forget the previous one. The holy priest is a hidden profession. Now that even the NPCs have been found, is it far from hiding the profession? That's a good point. It's certainly not far off. The Dafeng is open, and with the help of Qinglong, the speed of swimming has suddenly increased a lot. Xiamo Yinyu was quickly surpassed by her and became the third place. It's a pity. I think Miss Xiamo Yinyu is also very powerful, but it's a pity that the NPCs are too awesome. Will the first place also be an NPC? Don't tease me, such a cute little Lori. How could it be an NPC? Such a cute little Lori. Why can't it be an NPC? The game isn't that good modeling, okay? I always felt like this NC looked like a person. So the first place is definitely not an NPC. It must be an individual. But the first place still has a way to communicate. I just sent a private message, and the other party didn't pay attention to me at all. Such a cute little Lori. There must be a lot of people who want to confess. What's so strange about people turning off private messages? The players are really a conflicted and cute group. At this time, Lin Chun sprinted with all his might, and his speed was extremely fast. Finally came to level 3. At least that's what Lin Chun called it. For her, that's level 3. Level 1 is a level 60 boss, Shark. Level 2 is a level 120 boss, Blue Dragon. So what is level 3? It can't be a level 180 boss, right? What is this water park set up so perverted? It's just an ordinary racing game. However, when Lin Chun came to the third level, he was also stunned. The third level is a giant maze. There is only one entrance. This labyrinth is made of crystals, and with the blessing of seawater, each crystal is like a mirror. It all looks exactly the same. It's easy for people to get lost when they walk inside. Lin Chun was also in a cold sweat. She's usually a little road blind. I remember one time, she went out to play alone, and she clearly set the navigation, but when she arrived at the destination, even the navigation failed. She remembered distinctly that it was a street, but the front and back of the street were exactly the same. At least in Lin Chun's cognition. They look exactly the same. So Lin Chun walked around that street for about 4 hours, but he didn't find the place he wanted to go. In the end, I had no choice but to go back. Second, a friend took Lin Chun there. Quickly found the place Lin Chun wanted to go before, and said that Lin Chun's sense of direction was not good. Although now Lin Chun has crossed into the game, and with a new body, but the result is the same. Still a road blind. Lin Chun didn't rush in, but stood at the door and thought for a while. She also wants to open the GM store to find out if there are any items to pass through the maze. However, in this water park, there is no way to open the GM mall. I really can't help it. Lin Chun could only find another way. Just thinking about it, her ranking also dropped. It became the second place. Because after the Falling Yarn of the first place jumped off the green dragon again, he plunged into the maze. It doesn't matter if you can pass it or not. That's the action anyway. Very confident. For a while, the barrage was also brushed up. What the hell is little Lori doing? Why don't you dare to enter the door of the maze? Little Lori, don't be afraid. Uncle will take you forward. 2 upstairs, gentlemen. If you want me to say, this holy priest's mentor is really bold enough to rush in without even thinking about it. I thought about it for a while. To be honest, there is nothing I can do about such a labyrinth if I accidentally break in. This maze should be the last level. As long as you pass the maze, you can complete the task. I don't want to end. I don't want to end it either. Don't want to end up adding 1006. Lin Chen's side finally moved. But everyone saw Lin Chen throw a green piece of equipment on the ground. Green, color, outfit, equipment. Lose your marbles? Have a lot of money to spend? Rich so proud of everything? What's the situation? Then, not long after Lin Chen entered the labyrinth, he threw another piece of green equipment on the ground. Everyone calculated that there would be a green piece of equipment every 3 meters. This green equipment will not disappear in event dungeons. When placed on the ground, it will glow with a faint green light. Although faintly, but it can be used as a road sign. One of the most obvious features of the Crystal Labyrinth is that the walls and floors are transparent. It's easy to get lost, but if he did this like Lin Chen, he would be able to leave a clear path on the ground. I won't let myself get lost. This method is it's too tyrant, at least for the players. When Lin Chen was stunned in place just now, he was actually using the supreme authority of NP to make players props. White gear is definitely not a no-go. Green gear will do. The supreme authority to craft equipment does not require any materials at all. Select the target piece you want to craft, and then enter the number of pieces. Just wait there. Lin Chen's operation can be regarded as handy. It's just that the barrage went crazy for a while. Miss Taheo, let's be friends. What did Lao Tzu see? So much green equipment is enough to equip an entire guild player. Is this crazy? Seeing so much green equipment, I didn't feel any waves in my heart. Did I float? I really didn't expect anyone to use equipment like that. I really want to go in and pick up the gear. Miss, can I tell you how to walk the maze? 66,666. Player Jiang and rewarded a yacht. The player dominates the world and rewards a yacht. Player Jiang and rewarded a yacht. The player dominates the world and rewards a yacht. These two people are obviously on the bar, and they have brushed a lot in an instant. As a result, the barrage still didn't let go of the two. No matter how hard you two try, it will be fruitless, and the young lady is much richer than the two of you. That's it. The young lady casually threw the green equipment on the ground and used it as a road sign. I just looked at this maze and it's quite big. It is estimated that hundreds of pieces of green equipment will be needed, and the young lady's backpack is really big enough. It turns out that the young lady can also play games, and she has such a good time. As I said a long time ago, this number 1 is definitely an NPC, and you still don't believe it, or it's an insider. How could it be an insider? The game company has clarified before, saying that there is absolutely no way that this game will have insiders. How old are you? Lin Chen didn't care how collapsed those players were. She had to get through the maze as quickly as possible, then get the first prize. Otherwise, I'll have to do it again next time. Can this mental method 2 task be normal? Can? I don't know what kind of task the third mental method is. This mental task appears to be a circular group of tasks. It's really a big deal. With the help of Supreme Authority, Lin Chen still managed to get lost. Get lost. What's the situation? Obviously, there is green equipment as a signpost. Lin Chen's name was depressed, very unhappy, and kicked on the crystal wall. Then the crystal wall cracked. A crack appeared like a spider's web. Is it that easy? Lin Chen rounded his arm and smashed his fist against the crystal wall. There were more and more cracks in the crystal wall, but it still didn't break. It doesn't matter. Not once. Just do it again. Lin Chen's 2 small fists were aimed at the crystal wall and smashed, and even the seawater was stirred up. The barrage in the live broadcast room is like crazy again. What's the situation? Then Miss Luosha must not be so depressed before. Can't you let Qinglong knock over this maze? I guess that's a bug. I think if someone is an alchemist, it should be very simple to pass this level. Just keep making bombs, and you can clear the level. That being said, it always feels a little untrue. I still think it's a shame to have so much green equipment on the ground, and it would be better to be able to give it to me. The players chattered. Lin Chen finally smashed a gap in the crystal wall, and at the cost of this, Lin Chen's blood volume has dropped to 0%. When she smashes a wall, it also damages her. Therefore, Lin Chen's blood volume also decreased little by little. She sat on the ground, looking depressed. I'm convinced. The sitting posture of this thing is very unsightly. But it finally made a gap in the crystal wall. Lin Chen picked and found a green hoe in his backpack. This is the player gear she made before. After all, she chose to be random when crafting the player's gear. What's so strange about having some equipment that can only be used in life and occupation? Lin Chen grabbed the hoe, little by little, pried open the gap, and finally passed through one person. She goes straight into the walls of the labyrinth. Next, she doesn't throw green gear on the ground anymore. Either you can make a bomb that can only be used by the player, or just climb the wall. Anyway, don't go the right way. In other words, with her sense of direction, the probability of being able to walk the maze through the right path and not getting lost is almost zero. It's better to blow it up or climb over the wall. This is a little more efficient. When Lin Chen was doing things in full swing, the barrage in the live broadcast room exploded directly. I've learned how to clear the customs. It turns out that you can still go through the maze like this, and if you see a similar clearance scene in the dungeon in the future, you will use this method. I think it's good, it's fun. Am I the only one who cares about the green gear that falls to the ground? Don't worry about the front. I just read the description of the water park. If a player or NPC accidentally loses something, it will be returned in the end. No wonder the young lady doesn't care so much. The local tyrant doesn't care in the first place. The thoughts of the rich are different from your thoughts. With a special customs clearance method, Lin Chen's progress suddenly accelerated a lot. Look at the doffing again. Since entering the labyrinth, the doffing has been slow like a turtle crawling. This kind of difficult maze is impossible for ordinary people to get through. The same goes for doffing. What's more, there are no small animals in it, and they will leave with the doff. It's depressing. Xiaomo Yinyu here also quickly came to the labyrinth. However, Xiaomo Yinyu didn't think much about it, plunged into the maze, and stubbornly relied on a strong memory and sense of direction to move forward, and soon overtook the doffing. However, Lin Chen was simply a violent person, destroying a large part of the labyrinth. Most of the young ladies follow the rules after entering the maze, or by luck, or just rely on a strong memory and sense of direction. For example, Xiaomo Yinyu is a powerful faction. There are really few types of destruction like Lin Chen. Wrong. It should be almost nothing. However, the players in the live broadcast room like to see Lin Chen's type the most, which is very interesting. Lin Chen quickly came out of the labyrinth. Article 1. Deserved. It's the maze behind this that is completely destroyed. When Lin Chen came out of the maze, the activity of the water park finally ended. At the end of the moment, Lin Chen had already changed into a costume reward that he could get as long as he participated in the water park. Lin Chen's legs, which were set off by the blue light gauze on his waist, became slightly longer, and he looked like a slim little lorry. It's very cute. And a big gift package appeared in front of Lin Chen. She opened it almost without even thinking about it. Congratulations to the host for the costume. It was a set of Hanfu. A complete set, even if it only occupies one clothing compartment. And it's also Yunjin. In reality, this level of Yunjin costs 30,000 yuan per meter. Of course, the best cloud brocade is in the museum, on the Emperor's court clothes. This set of Hanfu is very luxurious, like Lin Chen, who doesn't like Hanfu very much, and they can't leave their eyes when they see this fashion. There is a phoenix pattern embroidered with gold thread on it, which is lifelike. Every place is extremely exquisite, like a beautiful handicraft. At this time, her eyes were fixed on the outfit, and she didn't notice that she was standing on the podium. At this moment, the barrage is soaring. The young lady is really the first, 6666. I still think Miss Falling Shale is cute, but I didn't expect it to be an NPC. To be honest, number 1 is an NPC, but you don't know it. That means that there is only one player in the top 3, and that is Xiaomo Yinyu. Of course, Xiaomo Yinyu was the number 1 assassin in the whole server in the last game, and this is one of the top 10 masters. Bragging, right? There are female players who play games so well. Our Sonorous Rose female players are very good at playing games. Do you want to try it? Do you have the ability to start a guild battle after level 30? It's okay to have a guild war. At present, The highest level of the whole server is not yet level 30. Otherwise, the guild would have been established long ago. After all, the gang-building order has been issued. Although only one piece, that's also remarkable. However, the barrage suddenly emptied. After a while, it was a crazy swipe. This white-haired little Lori. This must be the reward for the first fashion. It's awesome. I'm going out and buying it at a high price. You figured out the one in front. This is an NPC. Do you think the NPC will sell your fashion for no reason? No. Such a cute little Lori. I really want to take it home. I really want to take it home +1. I really want to take it home +1086. Lin Chun had indeed put on the beautiful fashion on his body, and his eyes were round. I want to say it. Luo Sha was standing beside Lin Chun at this time. Lin Chun smiled at Luo Sha. Don't give it. I knew it. Luo Sha sighed, but I can design a set similar to you when I go back. It's just not as good as your material. Sure enough, women are crazy when they see beautiful clothes. There was only a crazy look in the eyes of the falling yarn. Lin Chun couldn't help but feel embarrassed. I was about to say, or I'll drop this outfit. Anyway, Lin Chun's desire for clothes is not as strong as that of a real woman. However, Lin Chun clearly saw the attributes on this special fashion. Luan Feng returns to the Nest Yunjin Hanfu. Skill 1. Increases hit power by 100%, agility by 100%, armor by 100%, and has a 3% chance of rebounding, a 100% damage. Skill 2. Can transform into any NPC or player, lasting 24 hours, CD time 2 hours. Skill 3. Summon a phoenix pet, which can stay with its owner for a long time. Such a good equipment. Lin Chun was reluctant to take it out. Not to mention that there is also a phoenix pet. End of water park. Lin Chun returned to the city lord's mansion. The Dafeng hasn't come back yet. At this time, she looked depressed. Why is there no fashion reward for the 3rd place? Don't you have a costume reward? Whenever a female player participates, they will get a costume set. Lin Chun said softly on the side. I'm talking about the 2nd place costume award. As soon as Luo Sha talked about this, he was angry. Originally, I was not good at clearing the maze, but this time it was really a big loss. Lin Chun had a black line. I don't know how to comfort them, but what she didn't expect was that the self-healing ability of the Dafeng was still quite good. Luo Sha soon didn't bother with this. That's it. I'm in a bad mood. I'll go out to pit players. Get. Now all NPCs have a bad heart, and they like to go out and pit players. Lin Chun didn't have time to go out, because the rewards that followed made her laugh out loud. Ding dong. The live broadcast of the water park earned a total of 17 million gold coins. Do you want to extract it? Extraction, of course. After Lin Chun extracted it, he took out 15 million gold coins and put it in the city lord's warehouse, used for the construction of the city of Odin. The housekeeper smiled toothlessly and gave Lin Chun a huge drawing. Lin Chun only needs to click on the building on the drawing, and he can build it. It's very convenient. It's a game, after all. However, convenience comes at a huge price, and that is the price of money. Lin Chun nodded. The small 5 million gold coins are gone. But the city of Odin has expanded a lot. Lin Chun had been to Qinglong City. In the end, it is one of the 4 main cities in Huaxia district, and the area is much larger than that of Odin City. After doing this, Lin Chun suddenly heard a notification from the game cabin. She opened the notification and found that it was Bai Yue's stay. Bai Yue, Xiao Chunshin, come down and go to sleep. Don't stay up late. Your body is still very weak. To be honest, Lin Chun hadn't slept for a long time since he entered the game, as if he was tireless. Now that Bai Yue said it, I don't know why, I suddenly felt very tired and immediately got off the game. Lin Chun quickly got out of the game. There was a little melancholy, but it didn't take long for me to come out of the game warehouse. Bai Yue was outside the game warehouse, holding a large soft pillow in her hand. Xiao Chen, let's sleep together. Lin Chun? Not suitable, right? She coughed. I'm not used to it. It's okay. I'll get used to it later. Bai Yue grabbed Lin Chun, couldn't help but say, and took Lin Chun into the bedroom. So what? I'm not prepared. Lin Chun still had a word to say. But there really wasn't time for her to speak. Ding dong. Congratulations to the player for getting sleep and increasing stamina by 1. Is it good to like this? Before Lin Chun fell into a deep sleep, the only thing on his mind was this. Wake up in the morning on the second. Half of Lin Chin's body was numb. The main thing is that Bai Yue uses her as a pillow. The whole person hung on her like a koala. That's enough. Lin Chun finally broke free from Bai Yue's arms. Just getting ready to get out of bed. I could hear Bai Yue's voice. Has Xiao Qinshan woken up? I'll comb your hair with you. Lin Chun was stunned. In reality, Lin Chin also has long white hair. Lin Chin really doesn't know how to tie these ponytails. If it weren't for Bai Yue's help, I'm afraid I won't be able to go out this morning. Bai Yue's technique was quite good, and it didn't take long to comb Lin Chin's hair. It's pretty. Even Bai Yue picked out a beautiful Lolita costume for Lin Chun. Lin Chin shook his head. I don't want this. You can just find me a pajama, the kind with a pullover. Unexpectedly, Bai Yue quit. What does it mean to wear pullover pajamas all day long for such a beautiful little girl? Then what are you wearing? Lin Chin was inexplicable. I just like to wear those simple clothes. What kind of Lolita are you? And wearing skirts, it's too troublesome. And isn't it hot? I set the air conditioner for you. You are definitely not hot indoors. Bai Yue said with a smile. But I'm going to go into the game warehouse and play games. Lin Chin looked depressed. You didn't play yesterday, did you? I found out you weren't online at all. What were you doing yesterday night? Did you watch TV? Bai Yue snickered. Of course not. It's just that it's a tuba. Lin Chin's face was a little embarrassed. She still remembered that Xiamo Yinyu, that is, Bai Yue won the reward at the water park. At that time, she didn't talk much to Xiamo Yinyu. Do a good job of scoring an NPC. The main thing is that I don't know what to say, for fear of embarrassment. I'm also afraid of revealing the stuffing. Although Lin Chin knew that he was driving a tuba, it was very unlikely that he would show his stuffing in front of Bai Yue, even close to none. But I just feel scared. Or rather, a weak heart. What are you doing in a daze? Bai Yue patted Lin Chin's head with a smile. Give me half a day today. I will register you for the nearby Awakened High School, and we have to go to the assessment. Lin Chin nodded. Okay. At this time, Lin Chin was extremely well-behaved. However, when Bai Yue took Lin Chin out, she met the Black Dragon at the door. When the Black Dragon saw Bai Yue, his eyes lit up. Sister Bai, Sister Bai. Bai Yue's face darkened, got into the car directly, ignored the Black Dragon at all, and beckoned Lin Chin to hurry over. Seeing that there was no way to stop Bai Yue, the Black Dragon could only transfer the target to Lin Chin's body. Xiao Qinshan, follow me back. Lin Chin looked at the Black Dragon like a fool. The Black Dragon was furious when he saw Lin Chin's eyes. What's wrong? The Black Dragon was inexplicable. Lin Chin looked the Black Dragon up and down and couldn't help but say, Your standard for calling people is very strange. I am obviously not much younger than you. You call me Xiao Qinshan, and you are not much older than my sister. Your name is Sister Bai. Women are inherently very concerned about their age. The Black Dragon's emotional intelligence must have been brought with it at birth. So, for a while, the wrong name was called. As soon as I heard Lin Chin say this, the Black Dragon snorted himself a little depressedly. Look at my mouth. That's what I said wrong. But Xiao Qinshan, when are you going to go back with me? I'm not going back. His expression was faint. I have other things to do. Please let me go. After Lin Chin finished speaking, he ignored the Black Dragon and walked straight in the direction of Bai Yue's car. The Black Dragon is called a depressed. This is the eldest and the youngest sisters. I didn't even look at him. But the Black Dragon still shouted behind Bai Yue's car, Little sister, when will you two come back? He shouted and got carried away. I didn't pay attention to my surroundings for a while. When he had just run 2 steps, feeling someone grab the collar of his clothes. And the other party's strength is quite large, and he can lift it with one hand. The Black Dragon turned his head to look. I found that the man was covered in muscles and was about 2 meters tall. Looks like it's supposed to be an awakened, and it's also an awakened member of the power system. The Black Dragon laughed angrily. What does he do? He is specialized in cultivating all kinds of awakened people. I didn't expect to be bullied by a wild awakened person. You know who I am. Put me down. The black dragon said angrily, "Don't blame me for being unkind to you." The wild awakened man was very arrogant. "What kind of thing are you? Bully other people's little sister. I have long seen that you are unhappy. Do you talk like this?" The black dragon was inexplicable. "I talk to others. What does it have to do with you?" As he finished speaking, he suddenly grabbed the arm of the wild awoken with one hand. There was a lot of lightning in this guy's hands. Thunder and lightning spilled over the arms of the wild awakened. But what surprised the black dragon was that he was obviously injured in the arm, but the awakened person hadn't put him down yet. The black dragon knew that the awakened person in front of him should have received some kind of training. "Who was your boss, red dragon or yellow dragon?" asked the black dragon. "Close?" The wild awakened sneered and said, "I'm sorry, I have nothing to do with you. Please don't get close to me." Black dragon, MMP. Let's say that Bai Yue left with Lin Chun here. Lin Chun sat in his seat, a little uneasy. "What kind of awakened high school is it?" Feeling Lin Chun's nervousness, Bai Yue said with a smile, "Don't worry, you will definitely be able to pass the test or something. It's very simple." "I went straight to my senior year of high school," Lin Chun hurriedly said. "Read from high school. Then forget it. Either don't take the college entrance exam, or just take the college entrance examination directly." Anyway, Lin Chun thought about it. "Okay." Bai Yue nodded. "I have already arranged it for you." Bai Yue drove the car to the nearby Awakened High School. This high school is quite close to Bai Yue's home. Lin Chun even pondered that if she really had high school life, she could still run back for a meal or something. After all, Bai Yue's meals are also quite delicious. Bai Yue took Lin Chun into high school. This is a new experience for Lin Chun. Every student who enters high school receives a numbered ticket. Bai Yue is not allowed to enter. Lin Chun entered the high school with the number plate. Many seniors and seniors notice Lin Chun. Sima Chong is one of them. "That little Lori is cute. She can't be in our high school, right?" Sima Chong first noticed Lin Chun and said quickly, "I don't know, maybe. The people next to me didn't care too much. After all, such a small awakened person. It wasn't for nothing before. But those little children are not very awake. Some parents are very pitiful, seeing that the little ones have the ability to awaken. I plan to let the little ones take a shortcut and go directly to high school. As everyone knows, the awakened in high school and the awakened in elementary school are different. There are skipping grades, unless it's particularly good. There are a lot of TV reporters near the school. When they saw Lin Chun, a little kid, appear at the gate of the awakened high school, they immediately rushed over. However, they were all stopped by the security guards. So they shifted their target. Went to the interview by Yue, who came with Lin Chun. One of the tall reporters said, "May I ask what you think about sending your sister to the awakened high school?" "Of course. I hope that my sister will become a talent." Bai Yue nodded with a smile and said, "This is the most official answer." Sima Chong naturally also noticed Bai Yue, who was surrounded by reporters. But he always felt as if he had seen Bai Yue somewhere. He involuntarily stood up and walked in the direction of Lin Chun. "Little sister, do you want me to take you to the teaching building?" Lin Chun nodded, revealing a bright smile. "Okay." "Cute little Lori. It's just that I don't know why. The hair is all white. However, it does not affect the appearance. Especially wearing a red Lolita skirt. It looks like a little princess." Sima Chong felt that his heart was about to melt. He quickly stepped forward and led Lin Chun to the teaching building. "The school building is where you can sign up." Lin Chun glanced at Sima Chong beside her, and she didn't know why. When she saw Sima Chong, she had a feeling. The other party is weakly explosive. I really want to pinch him to death. Lin Chun expelled this sick thought from his mind, but saw that Sima Chong was still showing it to himself. "I don't know what type of awakened person you are, little girl," Sima Chong said, showing his biceps. Then he grabbed a large stone pier placed in the doorway, gently threw it up, and gently caught it. Then he put it on the ground. "See, my strength is so great." Lin Chun was speechless. It seems to have seen a peacock with a flower. She walked lightly to the edge of the stone pier, stretched out her little hand and patted it. "Solid. It's really amazing." Cute little Lori with a nice smile. But when Lin Chun withdrew, The stone was quickly covered with cracks like spider webs. Click, click. The cracks are more and more numerous and denser. Sima Chang's face was a little ugly. Lin Chen's voice was fluttering, but that's all. She turned around and walked in the direction of the teaching building, ignoring Sima Chang, who looked sluggish. As she left, the big stone had finally turned to powder. Sima Chang also followed the petrification. What the hell is this, it? The look in that guy's eyes just now, the little Lori's eyes. Sima Chang was a little excited. Obviously, he just wants to pinch me to death. It's like I'm just an ant. Unworthy. Sima Chang's eyes flashed with a strange light. I just like this genre. Sima Chang sighed. Suddenly found that Lin Chen was gone. Right. An awakened person like this must have signed up for it himself. Sima Chang hurriedly followed. Little sister, wait for me. I'll be there soon. Lin Chen heard movement behind him. Strange look. It's a bit wrong to specify what the place is. What she did just now was nothing more than wanting to get rid of Sima Chang, the clingy craft candy. But she never thought that after she finished this move, he seemed to be even more excited. Isn't that something wrong? Poisonous. Lin Chen came to the teaching building. The place of the awoken test has been marked under the stairs of the school building. Lin Chen's expression was indifferent. Quickly went up to the third floor. There are quite a few people. However, they were all older than her. You're here for the assessment, right? There were 2 teachers at the staircase, and one of them said with wide eyes when he saw Lin Chen. Lin Chen nodded. Give me the numbered plate. The female teacher on the left whispered, Where's the ID card? How old is this year? 1 year old. When Lin Chen talked about this age, his face was still a little red. I'm sorry. After all, Lin Chen's real age must be more than that. The teacher glanced at Lin Chen's delicate face in some surprise and said softly, You are so young, so let's go to the genius class first. Lin Chen nodded. Under the guidance of the teacher, she came to a classroom where there was no need to wait in line. But most of the people in this classroom are young. The most exaggerated is a baby in swaddling clothes. Parents are not allowed to enter the school. But this baby is an exception. Next to the baby stood his mother. He is tall, but he also has high cheekbones, which makes him look quite difficult to mess with. But the baby was a pretty child, mixed race, with blue eyes, and very good-looking. Didn't cry, but looked at Lin Chen curiously with a pair of eyes. Lin Chen could clearly feel that the other party's body was indeed a little different from a normal person. However, if it has reached the level of the awakened, it is not yet. There's a new student coming? The teacher in charge of the test was a Mediterranean, pot-bellied man. The man pointed casually. Just test it there. If you're a strength system, lift up that broken car and show me a good show of you. When the man said this, he glanced up at the mother next to the baby and said with a somewhat indifferent expression, I'm really sorry, your child didn't meet the admission standards. The woman's voice rose a few degrees. How is that possible? Such a young child. You better go back and grow up slowly, and then enter the kindergarten of the awakened, and cultivate it slowly. Going straight to high school is too much of an exaggeration. Mediterranean said lightly, Not everyone can become a genius. Lin Chen didn't pay attention to everyone. There is indeed a car in the classroom, but it's not a real car. The car is made of steel bar. Very heavy. There is the introduction of the car next to it. The wrecked car weighed about 2 tons. Lin Chen walked to the side of the car and patted it gently. Then tried to lift the car up. The car didn't move. Mediterranean said on the side, It seems that you are obviously not from the power system. Change for something else? No need. Lin Chen said lightly. Mediterranean smiled. You see, this is the fun. I know that I don't have this ability, and I have self-knowledge. I mean, yours is broken. Lin Chen turned his head. Can I enroll? The Mediterranean is trying to curse. This one of 2. That's enough. Do you really think you're a genius? It would be nice if genius was so good to show up. However, the next thing the Mediterranean saw was the car that Lin Chen photographed, which quickly turned into white powder, like quicksand. I'll go. Mediterranean was startled, rushed forward, touched the powder on the ground, and almost cried. These 2 tons of rebar. It's just gone? That's an exaggeration. Who the hell is this girl? If it's a power system, it's too powerful. The girl just patted it. Nothing was done. That's what the car has become. Can I enroll? Lin Shan asked softly. If it doesn't work, then forget it. Don't. Mediterranean was startled, for fear that Lin Shan would run away. You are enrolled. What grade do you want to study? Senior year of high school. Is it okay? Lin Shan asked rhetorically. Absolutely. Mediterranean said quickly. When is the college entrance exam? Oh, by the way, it seems like next month. Lin Shan's expression was indifferent. After I enter the school, if I don't come to school, can I come directly on the day of the college entrance examination? Absolutely. Mediterranean is particularly excited. Is this another plan to produce another champion of the Awakened? With Lin Shan's current ability, it's really possible. As for whether the other party comes to school or not, it doesn't matter. Lin Shan's age is young. If Lin Shan didn't succeed, then she'll definitely do it again. Either way, it's good for the school. What's more, the Awakened are not the same as ordinary people. There are many Awakened people who don't come to class. Mediterranean quickly went through the enrollment procedures for Lin Shan. Also issued a student ID to Lin Shan. Just as Lin Shan was about to leave, another kid is ready to come over and test. Mediterranean tutor, hurry up and show your ability. As long as you show your ability, you can enter high school to study. Then the kid spat on the ground. The Mediterranean immediately became on fire. I especially want to curse. Then, Lin Shan and Mediterranean clearly saw that the phlegm was actually corrosive. Immediately, a small hole appeared in the ground, and it seems to be slowly infiltrating downward. Mediterranean was dumbfounded. There are really a lot of prodigies this year. I'll go through the enrollment procedures for you now. But the baby's mother did not want to leave, arguing, Don't you see that my child is gifted? It's pink when you're happy. It's black and white when crying. It's purple when it's comfortable. You've been here for so long and haven't noticed that my child's hair color keeps changing? Don't say the Mediterranean is not found. Even Lin Shan didn't find out. Big sister, is this an ability? Well, sort it out. But it doesn't seem to work. When facing an enemy, do you change the color of your hair to surprise them? And a change of color is not a change of head. Still recognizable. What's the difference? Lin Shan was really convinced. But it has nothing to do with her. She quickly left the school with her student ID card. On the outside, Bai Yue has been waiting for a long time. You can be regarded as coming out. What is the result? Bai Yue asked with a smile. Lin Shan nodded. It's okay. She didn't reveal a word. Although there are many reporters next to her who want to ask whether she has entered the school or not. Because people like her are relatively young. They are all prodigies. Will be reported by the newspaper. But Bai Yue has an aura that no one can approach. For a while, no one dared to approach. Bai Yue took Lin Shan away. Are you hungry, sister? Take you to eat? Okay. Lin Shan nodded. The world was completely different from the one she had ever known before. It seems that everyone has some special skill or talent to a greater or lesser extent. Thinking of this, Lin Shan turned his head to look at Bai Yue next to him. Sister Bai, are you an awakened one? Sort of. Bai Yue didn't expect Lin Shan to ask like this, and after pondering for a while, she finally spoke. What do you mean? I woke up relatively late, and I didn't go through systematic training, so I can only be considered average, a little stronger than the kind of person who has not awakened at all, but it is nothing compared to the person who is truly awakened. Bai Yue rarely explained, however, my movements are relatively fast and I run faster. Is that talent? Calculate. Otherwise, Xiaomo Yinyu would not have become an assassin, or a hidden professional shadow among the assassins. If you don't have a skill, it won't become a hidden class. Okay, one of the two of us is already an awakened, and my sister will definitely make you stronger when she grows up. Bai Yue touched Lin Shan's head and took Lin Shan to the restaurant. It's still an awoken restaurant. That's the name of the restaurant. Lin Shan and Bai Yue ordered. The two ordered a drink. The man who brought them both drinks was the awakened. The drink was placed in front of Lin Shan. The waiter reached out and touched the drink. A thick layer of frost appeared on top of the glass. Ice-cold drinks. It's really convenient. It's a cafeteria. There is also a barbecue on the side. But the Lord who barbecues does it with the fire that he spits out of his mouth. Fire-based ability. Ice ability. There are so many awakened people in a restaurant, and all are orthodox combat professions. It's better than the one Lin Chen met before who could change the color of his hair, right? There are also many students who come to eat in this restaurant. When Lin Chen sat down, he heard a little chubby dun on the table next door, saying triumphantly to his father, "Dad, I'm awesome. I can find a job so quickly." "You're amazing. I don't have such a strange skill as awakening." The little chubby dun's father looked unhappy. Unexpectedly, the little fart boy was not ashamed at all. "What is this? I have a specialization in the art industry, and I won't have to worry about it for half my life." Lin Chun was very curious. "What kind of ability have you awakened?" "Some people awaken with only attributes, and some people will have some talents, which are legendary natural skills." Chubby was triumphant. "I can turn my curly hair into straight." "I can too. A splint hair ironer will do the trick." Little Fat Dun looked serious. "I mean without a hair iron." "Oh." Lin Chen's face was expressionless. "You're awesome." In the process of eating, Bai Yue also introduced Lin Chen to various strange awakening skills. The first awoken appeared before 50. The awakened of the power system. The awakened people in this world are roughly divided into two categories, the power system and the intelligence system. Bai Yue said softly while serving soup to Lin Chen. Of course, these two systems cannot be summed up in all of them, and there is one that belongs to the other department. The little chubby dun you just met belongs to other departments. Bai Yue explained herself. Lin Chen's expression was strange. Changing the color of your hair will also belongs to other departments. To put it bluntly, it is a wastewood department. Speak quietly. Bai Yue glanced at Lin Chen lightly. Not all awakened people will have awakening skills once they awaken. This awakening skill is called a talent. Some people have a bit of a strange talent, but it's a talent, isn't it? That's two. Better than nothing. The meal was quite interesting. All meals are made by the awakened. I don't know if Bai Yue felt it. Anyway, Lin Chen felt that eating the ingredients made by the awakened would more or less increase some strange attributes. For example, Lin Chen drank the drink made by the Ice Awakener. Ding dong. The host has drunk the drink of the Ice Awakened. Ice resistance +1. As for whether Bai Yue felt it, Lin Chen didn't know. Ding dong. The host eats a piece of meat cooked by the Fire Awakened. Fire Kong +1. Lin Chen didn't hold back. Ate a lot. Even if you eat a bite of rice or drink a mouthful of soup, you can increase her attributes. You seem to enjoy the food here. Bai Yue looked at Lin Chen with a pair of loving eyes. I don't know what came to mind. The woman's face suddenly changed. It seems that you don't like to eat the food I cooked. Lin Chen suddenly remembered that when she ate the meal made by Bai Yue before, there was indeed no such prompt. It seems that only meals made by the awoken will increase stats. Lin Chen said straightforwardly, "Didn't you discover that eating the meals made by the awakened can increase your own attributes?" "Really?" Bai Yue was also stunned. "A little bit." Lin Chen nodded. "But if that's the case, wouldn't it not take long for an ordinary person to wake up after eating the food made by the awakened for a long time?" Bai Yue frowned. "Obviously impossible." "Oh yes, that's right. Could it be that only Lin Chen himself could absorb it?" Lin Chen was a little puzzled, but in the end, he didn't say anything and casually found an excuse to perfunctory. "Maybe it's because the way it's made here is more chic, so I think it's delicious." "You're just making excuses." Bai Yue glanced at Lin Chen with disgust. "I don't like what I make." "Who said that?" Lin Chen added a chopstick dish and put it into Bai Yue's bowl. "Sister, I am willing to eat whatever I do. The food at this restaurant is really delicious." Lin Chen gave Bai Yue a perfect smile. It was so cute. Then Lin Chen felt a flash of light. She looked confused. That's the sound of taking pictures. A big sister held a camera and just took a picture of Lin Chen's smiling appearance. "What a cute little sister. I invited this order." Lin Chen's face sank. "I don't need you to ask. Delete the photo for me." "Don't be angry." The eldest sister smiled and said, "I'm a talent scout." Before the eldest sister finished speaking, Bai Yue stepped forward directly, snatched the camera from the other party's hand, and fell directly to the ground. The camera was shattered and torn apart. Bai Yue accurately took out the memory card from the camera, then took out some money from the backpack and threw it to the big sister. The money is for you, and the compensation for the digital camera is given. A set of actions is fluid. It's as if this kind of thing has been done many times. Lin Shan, who was watching, was dumbfounded. It was the first time she had seen Bai Yue's angry appearance. The eldest sister naturally didn't give up, but Bai Yue took out a business card from her arms and handed it to the eldest sister. This is my lawyer's business card. If you want to have anything, go directly to him. You're going too far. The eldest sister trembled. Bai Yue sat in the seat with a faint expression and turned a deaf ear to what she said as if she hadn't heard it. At this time, a waiter came over and said to the eldest sister, I don't think there's anything wrong with what people do. If you want nothing to do, please go out. You are not welcome in our store. I'm just taking a photo. Can I use it? The eldest sister was puzzled. She looks so beautiful. Isn't it just for us to take pictures? Who said that? Lin Shan frowned and said, You are violating your personal privacy. What is the privacy of a little kid? The eldest sister was very upset. Lin Shan didn't bother to argue. The eldest sister was finally cleaned up by the waiter in the restaurant. Lin Shan looked at Bai Yue curiously. To be honest, when Bai Yue did that set of actions just now, she really had the breath of a queen. It's a pity that Bai Yue doesn't seem to be an awakened person with natural skills. Bai Yue's attributes are only slightly stronger than ordinary people. What are you looking at? Bai Yue noticed Lin Shan's gaze, the corners of her mouth hooked, and asked softly. Bai Yue's gaze was very strong. Lin Shan and Bai Yue looked at each other, and they were defeated without knowing why, coughed, and quickly said, It's nothing. Xiao Chunshan is not obedient, Bai Yue smiled. You didn't hide anything from your sister before? Lin Shan looked away. What she thought in her heart was that if she was a man, most of them would be tempted by a young lady like Bai Yue. Because this is what I like. But now, don't delay anyone. Okay? Lin Shan only recognized Bai Yue as his sister. That's enough. The two returned home from the restaurant. Lin Shan was naturally anxious to play the game, but as a result, he heard Bai Yue say, You quickly go online in Odin City, and I will take you to level up. It seems that you can't get on the NPC number. Don't know what the doffing is doing? Lin Shan could only quickly lie down in the game warehouse, and then got on the trumpet. The city of Odin is still as prosperous as ever. This account hasn't been online for a long time since it went offline. In addition, there are already 4 level 180 guards around the teleportation array. It's just to keep players from blocking the road and obstructing traffic. So after Lin Shan's trumpet was launched, he really didn't attract too much attention. What's more, after this product is launched, the first thing is to change equipment. Lin Shan's trumpet logo is a beautiful little lorry with a big stick and hammer in her hand. Now Lin Shan directly took out the golden weapon given by the last event. Then turn off the light. The golden weapon emits a golden glow that is impossible to ignore. It's too conspicuous. Lin Shan glanced at the attributes of this golden weapon. I love it so much. The appearance of the golden weapon can be customized. Increases attack range by 200%. Strength plus 100. HP plus 200. Intelligence plus 300. Dexterity plus 80. Skill. 1. Provides 10% cooling reduction. 2. The effect of 45% of the damage that the skill can deal will heal the player. 3. Sweep the thousands of army. Deals 180% damage to a sector in front of the player. CD. 8 seconds. Now this golden equipment is in Lin Shan's hand, just like a stick. There is a shape that can be customized next to it. Lin Shan chose for a long time. Finally, a fan was chosen. Because in the future, if you wear a small skirt, a beautiful lace fan is the best choice. The main thing is to look good. To be honest, this weapon is quite perverted. The attack range of the fan weapon was 100 yards, but now it has been increased to 300 yards. In other words, Lin Shan could hide far away and attack in the future. What's more, the weapon also has a bonus to physical strength and intelligence. Lin Shan felt that he was about to become a melee mage. When the time comes, it's good to choose a hidden class that leans towards melee mages. When Lin Shan was still in a daze, she felt that her shoulder was padded, and she raised her head and was stunned. In front of her is indeed Xiamo Yenyu. At this time, Xiamo Yinyu is wearing the beautiful costume issued by the water park, holding a short sword in both hands. The costume of the water park is a bikini, and the bottom half of the body is a small skirt made of blue yarn. It's so beautiful. I knew that I would have let Trumpet go to that water park. I look good in this fashion, right? Xiamo Yinyu turned around in front of Lin Shan with a smile. Silly sister, you have straight eyes. Lin Shan suddenly felt very embarrassed and coughed twice before it resolved. Xiamo Yinyu sent a friend application, but it was rejected. You opened the friend application screen? Lin Shan was really afraid to open it, because, as soon as she opened it, there were thousands of messages. I can't finish it. For a while, I was in a hurry. And after opening this, the private message interface also opened, and the messages flashed nonstop. Lin Shan chose to ignore it. Then, he sent a friend application to Bai Yewei, that is, Xiamo Yinyu. At this time, Xiamo Smoke and Rain was already level 17. This level is neither high nor low. It's all to blame for that event. If it weren't for the beautiful fashions in the event, I wouldn't have bothered to participate. Bai Yewei said and changed into a new set of fashions. This set of fashion was personally selected by Lin Shan before. Flower wedding dress. White wedding dress. It's a bit of an exaggeration, like it was worn when I got married. Xiamo Yinyu looked depressed and simply hid the fashion. Due to Xiamo's occupation and rainy life, her clothes are night clothes. Wearing a black veil, it looks very mysterious. Lin Shan said softly, I think that bikini is good, cool. Is it cool? Xiamo Yinyu turned his head and glanced at Lin Shan. Or, do you have anything else on your mind? Xiamo Yinyu approached Lin Shan. Lin Shan's face turned red. He took a step back, quickly found an excuse, and diverted the topic. Didn't you say that you wanted to take me to level up? Hurry up, I'm only level 1. I don't know what you're messing with. As soon as he mentioned this, Xiamo Yinyu couldn't help laughing. I'm still a first-class rookie. For how exactly it was mixed. In fact, Lin Shan himself didn't know very well. But she has good attributes. Plus weapon bonuses. Don't talk about fighting the boss. Just say that it's enough to fight Xiamo Yinyu. But Lin Shan just didn't say it. I see. If there is a difference of 5 levels, there will be no experience bonus. If there are 5 players of different classes in a team, it will have a 50% experience bonus. There is no experience growth charm in this game. Otherwise, you worship me as a teacher, and if you are my apprentice, the Master Apprentice team can also have a 20% bonus. That's 70%. We're going to brush ordinary monsters. It's boring. Go straight to the dungeon. In the case of a dungeon, monsters of the same level have 50% more experience than monsters outside. Xiamo Yinyu is very sensitive to numbers and the like. Calculate quickly. Lin Shan swallowed his saliva. I really didn't expect experience to be able to be so calculating. In the past, when Lin Shan played online games, he plunged headlong into the monster pile. Desperately brush it. But obviously, Xiamo Yinyu didn't plan to do this. Women's thinking is really different from men's thinking. Xiamo Yinyu made a decision and sent Lin Shan an invitation to apprentice. Lin Shan naturally agreed. Then I saw Xiamo shaking people nonstop. It didn't take long for a few young ladies to come out of the teleportation array. These young ladies are all dressed in cheap fashion from the water park. Anyway, it's all in the game. And there's nothing to be embarrassed about wearing bikinis. What's more, it's all girls. Of course, except for Lin Shan, whose soul is not a girl. At the forefront is the rose-cold moon. Isn't it? Boss, you have to let us come over to help you with your apprentice? Isn't it okay? Xiamo Yinyu raised her eyebrows. Usually I bring copies. Can I help me this time? Rose Lingyue rushed over directly, grabbed Xiamo Yinyu's arm, and rubbed it on Xiamo Yinyu's white arm. I don't want to leave. I want to protect our family's Xiamo Yinyu for the rest of my life. Roll the calves. Xiamo Yinyu pushed away the rose-cold moon. My goosebumps are up. What about the others? The rest of the people are all the people inside the sonorous rose. One is called a rose flower, and the other is called a rose flower. Those who don't know still think it's a couple number. Actually, it's twins. These 2 twins. One is from the dark camp and the other is from the light camp. One is a necromancer. The other is holy prayer. Necromancers are somewhat similar to summoners. except that all the objects summoned by the necromancer are from hell. What a three-headed dog of hell, a skeleton or something. It's all called by necromancers. Holy prayer is an auxiliary profession. Although she is an auxiliary like the holy doctor, she does not add blood. It's a pure buff skill, and debuff. It's a hidden profession. There's another name on the forum. It's called buff monster. As for attack power, does normal attack count? To say that this pair of twins is really good enough. A desperate call for a little brother. A desperate buff. Together, these two are an army. It should be more sought after among quest events. And the rose-cold moon goes without saying. Which one doesn't require a doctor? Coupled with the fact that Xiamo Yinyu is a hot game, Lin Shan wondered if Xiamo Yinyu had called over several existences in the Sonorous Rose elite team. Let the young ladies of these elite teams lead the ranks. It's not like a big guild to do. But the Sonorous Rose is one of the top 10 guilds in Huaxia, and it has played a lot of games over the years, so it shouldn't make such a low-level mistake. Unless there is a more powerful existence in the union formation of the Sonorous Roses. Little sister. Seeing Lin Shan in a daze, Rose Lengyue shook her hand in front of Lin Shan. What are you in a daze? You will honestly follow me in a while, rest assured. My sister will not let you die. That's not going to work. Before Lin Shan could speak, Xiamo Yinyu next to him immediately said, Rose Lengyue looked confused. Boss, my protective ability is very strong. I'm afraid you'll be seconded. Xiamo Yinyu is serious. What can I do for a level 5 dungeon? Xiamo Yinyu came back to her senses at this time and said with some embarrassment, I remember wrong. If you misremember, you're done. Rose Lengyue stomped her feet and didn't cling to it. She didn't want to let Xiamo Yinyu cook. Xiamo was helpless. Turning his head to look at Lin Shan, he said to Lin Shan in a coaxing tone, This sister is my cousin. She is very naughty. Can she come to our house to eat with us? As soon as Rose Lengyue heard this, she exploded directly. What do you mean? You two live together now, right? Her tone is like the original match for catching a junior. Xiamo Yinyu was speechless. The two of us can't live together. Didn't you know it early on? Rose Lengyue scratched her hair. She was confused. Her eyes widened and she glanced at Lin Shan up and down and couldn't help but say, Boss, don't tell me. This is the sixth seedling of your family. Who are you talking about? Xiamo Yinyu slapped Rose Lengyue's hand. Because Rose Lengyue was too excited just now, she pointed at Lin Shan with her finger. Can vegetative people stand up and vegetative people can play games? Said Rose Cold Moon with round eyes. Xiamo Yinyu coughed. People have woken up. Isn't it true that you shouldn't go for rehabilitation when you just woke up? I am the awakened. Lin Shan was actually quite curious about this question. But when I think of the identity of the original owner of the awakened person, it makes sense. The awakened are really awesome. Rose Lengyue sighed and said, Why am I not the awakened? Maybe after playing the game for a long time, you will also become an awakened, such as the ability to add blood? Xiamo Yinyu said with a smile, teaming up with everyone as she spoke. Then select to enter the level 5 dungeon. A level 5 quest is not the same as a level 10 quest. Level 5 dungeons only require a team of 5 people to complete. Not so demanding. Of course, level 10 dungeons can also be teamed up to 5 people, as long as the equipment can keep up. What difficulty do we choose? Asked Rose Cold Moon, curious. Lin Shan pondered for a while and said, Disaster level. Catastrophic? The roses were stunned. Rose Flower smiled and said, Little sister, do you have any misunderstanding about the strength of our few? It's only a level 5 dungeon. Isn't it normal to be catastrophic level? You're all at least 15. Lin Shan looked depressed. We're all at least 15, that's right. But you're only a first-class rookie. I'm afraid you'll be gone when you touch it. Rose Lengyue looked worried. But don't worry, my sister is covering you. Xiamo Yinyu looked at Lin Shan seriously. I choose a disaster-level copy. You will follow me for a while. Don't go anywhere, do you hear? Sister, do you think my strength is not good? Rose Lengyue looked depressed. In the midst of her complaints, everyone finally entered the dungeon. There was a brief burst of white light, and after that, Lin Shan found himself entering a world of ice and snow. Isn't that right? Rose Cold Moon's voice sounded above Lin Shan's head. Boss, did you choose the wrong copy? This doesn't seem to be a level 5 dungeon, Rose said with a frown. It's a mutant level 5 dungeon, and it's also a catastrophe level. Xiaomo Yinyu checked for a while, and finally said helplessly, what does mutation mean? I've only heard of hidden professions. Will this normal dungeon still have a hidden dungeon stuck? Linshin nodded. Yes, haven't you read the game information before? I really didn't see it. Before Rose Cold Moon entered the game, all he looked at was the in-game fashions, cute pets, and a variety of beautiful skills. For game data, background lore? Rose Cold Moon wanted to ask, what is that? Yes. Rose Duo bit her finger and said, it's just very little, and the probability of letting the player run into it is 0.01%. Let's go pull a monster first and see if you can kill it. Xiaomo Yinyu is also drunk. This can enter a rare copy. If so, a normal level rare copy is just that. It's still catastrophic, although it's only level 5. It is estimated that they have been able to choke on several customs clearances. How can you pull a monster? Rose Huahua waved her small hand, and before Xiaomo could stop it, she roared. Not far from the earth, there was a blazing earth bear with red eyes. But it is clear that this bear came from hell. Although it was red, there were black and red hairs. Take it easy. Rose Longyu looked excited. Having said that, she still took out her staff for the first time. I'm afraid of a fart, and I won't drop the level if I die, Rose Flower said, beckoning, and a large wave of younger brothers crawled out of the ground. Roses begin to brush BFF. There are 3 of them. Increases ATK by 5%. Double defense increased by 5%. Increases full body resistance by 5%. Then I saw the big bear roar. There are many lively and cute bunnies in this icy world. However, no one thinks these little bunnies are cute, because the rabbits are all level 11. Some rabbits are level 13, or ranged attack monsters. The rabbits quickly ran around the bear, and then threw their uneaten carrot heads viciously in the direction of the bear. Oh, this little bunny is so cute. Rose Lingyue's eyes lit up. I want both. Xiaomo Yinyu's brows furrowed, and he said to Lin Chun behind him, you are standing at the door of the security zone. We will pull the monster over and try to let you eat the experience. Lin Chun nodded. She would be a paddling monster with peace of mind. It feels just right to have a young lady with me. Lin Chun couldn't help but think of the pit where she played holographic games with her sister in the early years. The game with a sister is a kind of cool point that cannot be explained. But if the girl gets up, that esports doesn't need love. Lin Chun was also taken by a girl for the first time. Of course, she is also a girl now, but he's a man at heart. Lin Chun honestly squatted at the door of the security zone and ate melon seeds. I saw that Rose Blossom attracted a large wave of rabbits with Cerberus Bear, and the other girls attacked one after another. Cerberus Bear is a monster that resembles a taunt. That's why there are no fighters in this squad at all, but they are still fearless. There was a rose flower. That's the equivalent of having a team. The rosette can also summon 5 skeletons. The attack of the skeleton creep is quite high, but there is no way to make up for it after death, and you have to wait for all 5 skeletons to die before Rose Flower can make up for it. That's enough disgusting setting. Rose Blossom is also an idle person who belongs to paddling. After adding the buff, it is to add the buff to the enemy. However, after the enemy is finished, that's really nothing to do. So Rose Blossom also joined the army of eating melon seeds. Xiaomo Yinyu is a relatively high single attack, but her ability to control DPS is relatively strong, and she has never let the hatred OT. But Rao is that this attack is relatively high, and the damage from the fight is average. -13, -223, -288, and so on. It's not very high either. The rabbit's defense should be very amazing, and the rabbit's attack is fortunately not particularly high, although it is a disaster-level hidden copy. What's even better is that Rose Lingyue, a doctor, can actually add blood to that big bear. That's the only thing you can do to carry monsters, and that big bear has almost no attack skills. The only skill is roaring. This roar is a mockery. After each roar, the surrounding rabbits became even more angry and smashed the big bear with the radish head. and this big bear has a total of 10,000 points of blood. The damage on the top of the head will occasionally burst out with 100-58, -88, -123, etc. Rose Cold Moon occasionally waved her small hand, and the blood volume of the big bear increased. The summer smoke and rain attack will stop after a while. Save hatred OT. In a minute or so, Lin Shin finally ate the experience gained from the first monster. Your teammate Xiamo Yinyu killed a lively and cute bunny to gain 132 experience. Got it. So many bonuses down. Just a little bit of experience. How pitiful this game is. However, Lin Shin's body was as he wished, and the brilliance of upgrading appeared. Upgraded. 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 Lin Shin didn't say anything, and the roses on the other side who were eating melon seeds with her immediately said excitedly, Lin Shin, little sister, you really don't need to be so excited. In fact, Lin Shin himself didn't feel that excited. But the roses have the feeling of a loving mother looking at her daughter. Lin Shin turned his head and blocked out the eyes of the roses. He really couldn't stand it. What are you going to practice? Rose Duo looked at Lin Shin curiously. In fact, Lin Shin hadn't thought about it yet. He shook his head blankly. Then are you planning to practice an attack class or a support class? But after saying that, the little girl had already expressed her opinion. I think you can practice auxiliary professions? Lin Shin was inexplicable. Curious, he asked, why? Because we girls practice auxiliary professions, people form teams. Rose Duo smiled and said, look how easy I am. Rose Hua stared at her nervously. It was those skeleton soldiers, and said with a tangled face, yes, you are relaxed now. Can you consider me? Lao Tzu's buff is almost gone. She is supposed to be one of the twins. Never talk about the old lady. Every time. He calls himself Lao Tzu. This is somewhat similar to Lin Shin. Of course, Lin Shin is the soul of a man living in his heart. But the rosette flower is estimated to be different. I said a long time ago, don't choose a combat class. You see how easy I am now? Lin Shin shook his head and said with a firm expression, I want to choose a combat profession. Why are you the same as Xiamo Yinyu? Rose Blossom's eyes widened. Xiamo Yinyu smiled. My sister is naturally like me. But after saying this, Xiamo Yinyu glanced at Lin Shin carefully. But my sister had better practice the auxiliary profession, and the attack profession is enough with me. Attacking classes is interesting, and support classes are boring. Lin Shin had his own ideas. Then what kind of attack profession do you want to practice? Rose Duo hurriedly asked. I see that your weapon is a fan. Could it be that you want to take the path of hiding your profession? Bring this up. Xiamo Yinyu was a little worried. You won the first place in the last event. You should have a golden equipment. It's all this fan in your hand, right? Lin Shin nodded. That's right, that's it. How did you choose a fan? Xiamo Yinyu shook his head and said, this is the shape of a decorative weapon, so it's not very convenient. How pretty. Rose Duo had a different idea. Moreover, if you don't say that I can't see it, this is a weapon, which can pretend to be a pig and eat a tiger. It's not a big deal. Roses don't matter. Anyway, you can change it with money, was said by these young ladies. Lin Shin only noticed this. Sure enough, the shape of this weapon could be changed again. It should be said that it can be changed many times. Just change it once and ask for money. Ask for 800 gold coins. For the average family, that's $80,000. This rose flower said so easily. Have a mine in your home? Or do you have a mine in your home? Rich woman, I don't want to work hard. Huh. Yes, you can change it if you have money. Xiamo Yinyu looked helpless. The first monster is still very light. I don't know what kind of copy this copy is, but all the copies are estimated to be about the same. Kill, kill, kill. So the mob was quickly cleaned up by several girls, and Lin Shin was quickly promoted to level 5 because of this wave of mobs. Later, it takes more experience to level up, so the upgrade is slow. It's not bad. Isn't it like riding a rocket? Xiamo Yinyu smiled and glanced back at Lin Shin. Lin Shin nodded. At that moment, all the mobs in the ice and snow were killed. But this place doesn't seem to have any other entrance than ice and snow. Rose Blossom looked puzzled. What's the situation? This is only such a little strange. Let's kill it. There is not even a boss. Is this a complete copy? It's supposed to be a mechanism. Lin Xin only stood up from the door of the security zone at this time, patted the melon seed shell on his body, and it was time for him to appear. Look around. Xiaomo Yinyu nodded and said, it should be around here. Everyone dispersed and began to look for the mechanism. But I searched for a long time but couldn't find it. They could see the mountains in the distance. They could see the snow and ice in the distance, but they just couldn't open the passage. Those rabbits exploded equipment just now, or didn't have any props? Because Lin Qian had been standing at the door of the security zone, he didn't pay much attention to whether the rabbits exploded. The agility of summer foam and rain is relatively high. Generally, the work of picking up equipment is done by Xiaomo Yinyu. I gave a few copper plates, and I was stingy to death. Xiaomo Yinyu is on fire when he mentions this. So how exactly should it be turned on? Look here. Rose Duo pointed to a stone tablet on the ground. Is this a clue? Lin Chun stepped forward. It looked like an ordinary stone tablet with words carved on it. But I don't know. Lin Chun knocked it with his hand. There was a rumbling sound from under the steel. Then a shallow downward passage appeared in front of everyone's eyes. Xiaomo Yinyu was dumbfounded. The awakened is the awakened, even if it's so special in the game. How did you open it? Xiaomo Yinyu wanted to know. No one else paid attention, but the roses did. Although Lin Xin only knocked lightly, but a red number appeared on the steel. 1,200. Critical hits. Rose Blossom rubbed her eyes. I guess I read it wrong. Maybe 120. But can a level 5 small damage exceed 120? Rose Blossom simply flips the system prompt. Usually fight monsters or something, and the roses are all turned off. Because it's so annoying. However, when the Rose Blossom opened the prompt, she clearly saw that there was such a sentence in the prompt. Your teammates deal 1,200 critical damage to the steel, smash the steel, and open the passage. How many levels are you? Who are you? Rose Duo immediately turned her head to stare at Lin Chun. Her little hand grabbed Lin Chen's arm, very anxious. Xiaomo Yinyu was startled and hurriedly explained, I brought her, and she is my sister. She's not your sister. Rose Duo held the staff and suddenly used a skill on Lin Chen. Cleanse. Your teammate Rose Blossom has used purification on you. One of the things that this Ragnarok does is very pitiful. That is, in the case of teaming, if it is in the wild, it can cause damage to the opponent. It's about killing teammates. Although you can't kill teammates in the dungeon, some skills can still be applied to the opponent. For example, purification, transformation, and restraint of these control skills. The 3 buffs on Lin Chen's body that had roses brushed out immediately disappeared. What is this for? Lin Chen looked confused. I don't understand the brain circuitry of Rose Blossom at all. Rose Blossom was a little panicked. Use it again. Your teammate Rose Blossom uses the purification skill on you. Lin Chen looked at the roses curiously. Sister, are you? Did you take the wrong medicine? Who took the wrong medicine? Don't call me sister. You're a spy who got in, right? Who the hell are you? A level 5 trumpet can deal 1,200 points of damage? 1,200 damage? So much? Even Xiaomo Yinyu was startled. Several little sisters quickly rummaged through the system prompts, and finally they were all shocked. Rose Duo is still making her own remarks. Xiaomo Yinyu. You must have been deceived. Your little sister doesn't know where she is. This person is a spy who got in. It's so similar. I didn't even notice it. The roses bloomed and called a righteous indignation. Lin Chen really couldn't cry or laugh. A group of girls were hit hard after seeing Lin Chen's current attributes. What the heck? It's only level 5. The stats are a bit high, right? Not a bit high. Is very high. S, big. Level, 5. Strength, 132. Stamina, 252. Intelligence, 334. Dexterity, 116. And Lin Chen also said that he still had 25 attribute points that he hadn't added. Because I don't know what to practice in the future. Hence the remainder. Your intelligence is so high, you can only practice spells. After seeing Lin Chen's attributes, Rose Duo explained with tears streaming down her face. Why are you in tears? The main thing is that strength is not Lin Chen's highest attribute. Intelligence is. In other words, a level 5 law system can beat an ordinary player at level 14 with ordinary attacks. It's very unpleasant. Is your initial level particularly high? Looked at Lin Chen's attributes, plus the equipment has added a lot to you, right? Xiaomo Yinyu quickly guessed. Lin Chen nodded. That's right, that's it. Yes, Xiaomo Yinyu. Your sister likes to pretend to be a pig and eat a tiger too much. Rose Cold Moon was completely speechless. What's more, Rose Lungyu had seen it on the forum before, and the official announcement of Lin Chen's perverted talent. That talent is based on rank. When Lin Chen only had level 1, the double defense was 999. It's level 5 now. That's not nearly 5,000. It's a shame. Rose Lungyu said with a depressed face. Let's also talk about bringing people, just our attributes. It's not enough for people to stuff their teeth. Xiaomo Yinyu couldn't cry or laugh. How can it be so exaggerated? Don't talk nonsense. But to be honest, Lin Chen's attribute really scared Xiaomo Yinyu. So under the strong request of several girls, Lin Chen couldn't paddle happily. If I had known that if I had knocked on a stone tablet casually, I would have been able to expose myself. Lin Chen would not come forward if he was killed. How good it is to paddle. Take the experience with melon seeds. You can also divide equipment and money. Hey? No. Lin Chen's eyes rolled. She suddenly had a very nice mat. After this copy, Lin Chen simply sent a task with a large number. Ask other players to bring their own trumpet. Bring a trumpet to get gold and green garbage equipment. For civilian players who are desperate for equipment and money, it's a good thing for sure. It was impossible for Lin Chen to trouble Xiaomo Yinyu all the time. At the strong request of several other girls, Lin Chen successfully became the one in the team who couldn't paddle. And you have to go with the girls to the dungeon. Of course, Xiaomo Yinyu still patted his chest and promised, I will definitely be able to ensure your safety, don't worry. As a result, Rose Lungyu directly lifted the old bottom. Boss, don't say it. Your defense can't catch up with your little sister. I think we can all do without the bear with the rose, and just throw your little sister on it. What a good MT. But then again, why do you change your job title with such a good attribute? You mean to change jobs to full-time? Xiaomo Yinyu took a deep breath and turned her head to look at Rose Cold Moon. It's not impossible, little sister, you say. Are you willing to become a full-time skilled? In fact, Lin Chen had this idea before. Full-time skilled workers. That's awesome. But there are just so many skills in this game. There are also a lot of classes in this game. If you choose only the best parts of each class, it's not impossible. Anyway, she has a tuba, and she can change jobs whenever she wants. It's a little secret that no one else knows. Lin Chen didn't plan to talk to Xiaomo Yinyu either. It's weird after all. The 5 mothers walked slowly, and there was a zigzag staircase under the stone monument. After entering the stairs, I smelled a foul smell. Rose Cold Moon involuntarily approached Lin Chen. In Lin Chen's surprised gaze, he hugged her. She stiffened. She's really not used to touching girls. But Rose Lungyu frowned coldly. What are you looking at me like this? I'm not afraid. I'm just afraid that you will be cold, so I hold you. How did Rose Lungyu's awkward temperament come about? Lin Chen snickered. Xiaomo Yinyu is also helpless. If you're afraid of the dark, just say it. I'll just light it. Xiaomo Yinyu was speechless, took out a candle from his arms, and lit it. Although the Rose Cold Moon dead duck has a hard beak, but the body is honest. After the summer foam and rain lit the candles. Obviously, Rose Lungyu's expression relaxed. Lin Chen couldn't help laughing. Rose Lungyu is still a dead duck with a hard mouth. Little girl, what are you laughing at? I'm older than you, and I'll go to your house in a while, and you want to call me sister. I don't have such a timid sister. Lin Chen was really straightforward when he spoke. Rose Cold Moon. Okay, like a child, can you go now? Xiaomo Yinyu was really speechless. The most curious thing is the rose. Boss, why do you carry candles? Rose Flower also nodded beside her. Yes, in general. No one will bring candles when going down to a copy, right? Xiaomo Yinyu smiled. Isn't it normal to bring candles? The game doesn't say what these clutter do, but I think it's going to be more or less useful, so I brought some more. To be honest, I still have salt in my backpack. If you want to eat a roast chicken or something, I think I can get you one on the spot. Lin Shan couldn't help it and gave a thumbs up at Xiaomo Yanyu. I can play the game in such detail. It is estimated that there are only women. If it were Lin Shan, then you can only rush forward. Of course, people's summer foam and smoke and rain are great gods. Lin Shan is not. I don't have the ability to do that. Well, that's the big difference. Several people finally came down the stairs. It's a foul-smelling chamber. The chamber was filled with sparse sounds. It's like some little bug crawling on the ground. Girls, too, are afraid of the dark and insects. As soon as I heard this voice, almost all the girls are crazy. They hug Lin Shan. After all, Lin Shan isn't a delicate figure. It looks like a cuddle bear. Lin Shan was also helpless and was almost strangled to death by these women. Sisters, don't you need this? Rose coughed and wanted to summon the bear. Let Xiaomo Yanyu next to him stop it. There should be NPC dialogue here. Don't summon the bear. Your bear is too tall. It will crush this place. That's true. The bear was indeed very tall. In the light of candles, everyone finally found out. There was a man tied to the wall at the very back of the chamber. The man was covered in dense chopsticks. Well, it can't be said that it is chopsticks, which are engraved with mysterious and complex spells. The man was pinned to the wall and could not move. There are bugs and rats all over the body. It's supposed to be an NPC. Xiaomo Yanyu whispered, I'll trigger. We haven't been here to this dungeon before, and we haven't heard that anyone can clear it here. What the hell is this? Rose Lingyue complained, Boss, be careful. It's just an NPC. Can you use it? Xiaomo Yanyu is very confident. She walked forward slowly. Sir, are you okay? Nothing happened. Sir, we are passing through here. Do we need help? Still nothing happens. Sir, shall we let you out? Still nothing happens. Rose Duo was in a hurry. This girl was originally a violent temper. Otherwise, she would not have threatened Lin Shan so much before. I said this thing can't be a dummy, right? Rose Duo expressed her opinion. Could it be? Already dead? There are names. Xiaomo is helpless. Rose Blossom's anxious temper doesn't know when it will change. This NC has a name on it. It's long. It's called Christian. If it's a corpse, there should be no name. Xiaomo Yanyu tried many beginnings, but Christian didn't react at all. Rose Cold Moon also tried it. Still nothing happens. Lin Shan touched his nose. Why don't you come? Xiaomo Yanyu nodded. You can try it. Lin Shan's exaggerated attributes have already been recognized by everyone. At least the young ladies no longer think that Lin Shan is a paddling monster. Lin Shan stepped forward. He took a closer look at the person in front of him. That's really miserable. And she could clearly hear Christian's heart beating in the chamber. That is, this thing is still alive. Why ignore people? Hells no. Lin Shan looked at the old man for a long time, but he didn't speak. Rose Blossom smiled. Why don't you let me come, little sister? But as soon as Rose Duo finished saying this, she saw Lin Shan suddenly raise her slap and slap Christians with lightning speed. Let's be honest. No one reacted. The loud slap still seemed to reverberate inside the chamber. The voice. That's called a sour. Xiaomo Yanyu was dumbfounded. I didn't expect it to be able to be used in such a way. But Lin Shan's slapping didn't stop. After more than 50 slaps, Lin Shan finally retracted. Christian coughed a few times, spit out a mouthful of blood, and looked at Lin Shan with an unhappy expression. What's the matter? Lin Shan turned his head at this time. Didn't you react? It's not just a reaction. This TMD is full of anger, right? Christian sneered and was about to speak. Xiaomo Yanyu hurriedly rushed forward and whispered, I'm sorry. She was meant to be comforted, but I didn't expect Lin Shan, who was unconscious, to kick 2 more feet. If you have a task, send it quickly. If you can catch your breath, you can speak quickly. If you want to explode, just fight. Don't talk nonsense. Lin Shan is a little grumpy. Rose Duo whispered on the side, this temper tantrum tastes good for me. Don't make a fuss. Xiaomo Yanyu only feels a headache now. If it fails, failure is failure. Anyway, it was mainly to take Lin Shan to level up. It's a big deal. Just change it. What I didn't expect was that Lin Shan really kicked Christian honestly with these few kicks, stared at Lin Shan with a pair of confused eyes and said, Ahem. Can you release me? No, you can't. Lin Shan replied quickly. Give the reward. No, you can't. There's no need to fight monsters. No, you can't. And what do you say you're going to do? Said Christian. Lin Shan looked at Christian with an indifferent expression. Equip the money and keep it, otherwise you will die. You think beautifully, Christian yelled. And see, Christian is demonic. Please destroy it quickly. Here's a hint from the dungeon. Xiaomo Yinyu looked strange. And like that, I always felt that Lin Shan did it on purpose. However, Rose Flower doesn't care so much. With a small move, the little brother will appear immediately.